Welcome back, Exiles, to event 28, and this is a special one, the wheel. So, in this event, we have 6 random skills that we've chosen beforehand, and every 10 minutes we will roll the wheel and the players will have to switch in between these skills. We have skills like Molten Strike, Freezing Pulse, Shrapnel Shot, so all the categories. It's going to be very interesting to see how the players build their characters. Commentating today's event is Cooters and Nugian. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Avic, I'm doing pretty good.
Hello.
All right. So I believe I've explained the wheel. Let's actually start off with the initial spin. So let me load it up real quick and let's get a spin going.
Ooh.
First skill, Freezing Pulse.
Oh.
Pretty exciting stuff. All right, I'll let you casters get going, get deliberating. We'll see you guys later.
Well, freezing pulse. That's kind of. I think that's gonna be kind of interesting because I think we're gonna have a lot of duelists going. So freezing pulse is probably gonna throw a wrench in that. What do you think, Cooters?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the starting classes. I wasn't sure if they were going to actually meal some onslaughts over or something. But I know Ryze looked like he was looking at this kind of shadow elementalist projectile damage thing. I'm not sure if that was his actual tree, but freezing pulse for Ryze wouldn't be a problem if that's what he's going with.
I could definitely see. I think we could see some maybe if not. If they haven't already picked Shadow, I could see them all going Shadow right now. Like some might be sitting on a duelist, but they might just be swapping.
That's right. I guess they could end up switching over after they saw that Freezing Pulse spin. Yeah. Might be a better choice for them. I mean, it's 10 minutes, I believe, of Freezing Pulse, so not going to do well with the duelists.
They do have a Tabula though, so you can make pretty much anything work though, even with no damage nodes on the tree, because we have so many level 1 skills as support gems now. So you can actually, with the Tabula, you can link it up like 4 times or at least 3 times early on. So it's not too bad compared to like before 3.0.
That's very true. I forgot about the Tabula aspect. That would make it much easier for these people to link up these skills, being able to easily just swap out the active skill gems for some supports that could possibly work for multiple skills.
I am seeing both Uber here and DeadandDoom. They're both on the duelist right now, it seems.
Yeah, I think Gucci also is on the duelist. Ryze the only one I saw picking that Shadow. So, but it looks like now he is hovering over that duelist on his screen. So I'm not too sure.
Looking at what the other players are playing, maybe like noticing, oh, everyone's going duelist. I think he will have a substantial lead though if he goes Shadow first, and then they could roll. The thing is, we don't really know, right? Because melee, if you go duelist, what I'm seeing is you're probably going to be scaling into all the attack speed for 4 of the attack skills. But if you go Shadow, you can go full Ellie for 2 of the spells and both of the range skills. And you could even go Ellie Cleave. So I'm kind of liking a Shadow pick, though support gems might be an issue.
Yeah, I think Shadow is a pretty strong pick. I agree with you there. Even Molten Strike, I mean, there is a little bit of fire damage, and you could, like you said, add some elemental support.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be too bad. Ryze, I mean, looking at the projectile damage, if we recall, on that Shadow Tree, now he's on Templar. So, but it looks like on this overlay, I'm seeing, yeah, I don't know what Gucci is doing. I guess Gucci is, I'm not sure if he's practicing or if he's just leveling a character right now. I'm not sure if this is actually insight into what he might be planning.
Oh, I like this countdown on the on their what's it called, the timers. I haven't seen that before. I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that too. In the red there on Uber's channel.
Yeah, and DeadandDoom as well. That's some new racing strats. Oh, and Raiz doing a little bit of gem checking where they are, like who gets what. Yeah, he sees the added coal there in the shadow.
Yeah, I think that's one of these things where if you have that mental knowledge where you don't have to reference to any sort of website or notebook or something, it can save you some time, especially in these pro races. Every little second counts.
Yeah. I will say though, for most of these, I don't recall any racer historically that has actually really perfected like all the classes. I would say DeadandDoom came close, but he'd never really raced as a ranger, so the bow skills might throw him off curve a little bit here.
There is a lot of classes, so that's a lot of information you have to keep in your head. And I think there's this comfortable spot that people like to stick with, so they aren't really stretching outwards to grasp at some weird new technique or risk, maybe even dying and taking a huge death penalty.
Yeah. I wonder, how would you approach a race like this?
I mean, I was looking at the skills before, and the big bridge, like I was saying when we were discussing before the race, elemental damage seems like a big factor with, shrapnel shot and ice shot, even molten strike a little bit there. And like you said, adding the elemental, maybe added fire damage to some support. I think that's going to be the bridge that kind of bridges the gap,
No, I think you're right. I'm just really excited for the race. I was really excited myself of actually participating here. Just because I really like it when you throw a wrench into everything and you have to adapt on the spot, right? It's just such a different way of racing versus having everything, like every single skill gem is like already predetermined and everything you need. And I think this is going to be such an exciting race.
So I know we brought this up before, Officer, but you're saying you actually like to be in the racing seat opposed to casting. I mean, you do enjoy casting, but how much anticipation did you have for this? Did you have any nerves? Were you anxious before you knew that you're actually going to be casting this race?
Not really. I was kind of just gonna go with whatever.
Cool and collected. Yeah. The cool cucumber. Oh, are we starting here? Okay.
Yeah, we're starting here.
So Raiz going with the Templar. I don't know if this is he picking something up to move over. I'm not sure if that's going to be.
He's going Templar.
Oh, he's actually just going to go Templar.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will say though, he should be muling straight off the bat. If he's going Templar, unless he's muling for Templar, then he should be muling now to get Onslaught.
I think he's gonna mule something from Templar over. I don't know. The shadow tree seemed, he went so deep in that tree. Maybe the freezing pulse threw him off. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Wait, Raiz is quite a bit behind getting to Hillock here. Same with Gucci, but Uber taking it down pretty easily with DeadandDoom. 2 rares, I believe, one for each.
Yeah. Ooh, no movement speed for Uber there. Almost a perfect start. Oh, Iron Ring and Blacksmith for Raiz, but no luck because it's freezing pulse. Double Iron Ring. What the hell? That's crazy.
He's definitely gonna be taking things off the mule just in case something comes up there, on the wheel in the next 10 minutes. I'm not sure if they're gonna help though. At that time, it's gonna be a long time. 10 minutes is quite a long time, especially in Act 1 when you're just powering through so many zones.
I like how Raiz is checking for gems because he might have forgotten what he put in his tabula.
So
all the players already have all the 6 different gems already, so
there's
literally no point in looking.
Right, it looks like Raiz and Gucci, the only ones to equip the tabula, Uber and Dead wanting that extra movement speed.
Yeah. There's no real need just yet to actually equip the tabula here.
No, I agree. I'm not too sure.
No, they actually don't. I think it's just a little bit of a mismatch on the item updater on the site we're
that's quite possible.
Because if you look at the screen, you don't have a bunch of white robed men.
That is
running
true.
around.
Rise is not wearing the tabula. I guess it's just a delay here. So yeah, all of them opting to take it off. Like you said, no point really. You're going to take that -3% of that reduction of movement speed, and there's just not enough links right here to make it worthwhile.
So we have everyone pretty much running straight to title. I think this has been kind of the adopted strategy. I know that Raiz likes to, and we are seeing this right here. He likes to go to mudflats, level up an additional time to get to make sure he gets to level 3, so his second vendor check has an updated vendor, so you can get the double check for movement speed on those first 2 levels.
Right, I have seen this strategy before, and like you said, Raiz this being really comfortable with that one, and I think it's a decent move. It'll be interesting to see if it pays off here, as everyone else wins a kill.
Gets a little nasty pack there. Did he get the? I think he did get the quest item.
Yeah, I think he did pick it up.
Oof. That'd have been unfortunate otherwise. Being a little bit lost though in mudflats here. Not really too familiar with the new layout. If you go back in time before 3.0, you could actually see and follow the small rivers in between.
Right, between the row of nests. Yes.
Yeah. Now you have to have more of an idea of the layouts, because they're always pretty much the same, but you have to know them beforehand.
Right. I mean, I think the one strategy most people implement there, if they don't know the layout extremely well, is just run to the center and hope something pops up on your map. Now, I mean, with the new 3.0 map layout, quest items do show up a lot farther away than they did before.
Oh, they definitely do, yeah. It's a big deal for racers. Both the entrance and the quest items. It's huge for sure. We have Raiz going back now. So he entered, just clicking that entrance and then immediately logging out, because you do enter the next zone and you have the waypoint.
Right. The difference between starting on the waypoint and starting in the middle of town actually does save a little bit of time here and there on each logout. And of course, you don't have to use a scroll.
Okay, so he is going with the shadow. So he was going for so he was doing a long mule all the way. I wonder what gem. Maybe he needed a flame totem. Maybe Shadow doesn't get that? Because that's the level 4 gem he just got. I didn't see exactly. Maybe it was the decoy. Oh, it could have been the decoy.
Right. I think the decoy totem is a huge thing. Just in any race, I mean, being able to distract a single target, especially a boss, is a huge, huge advantage, and just really takes away a lot of the risk of dying early on.
Oh, and I think DeadandDoom opted Gucci for the same.
And Gucci also milling here.
Okay.
I believe. So wow. And Uber also doing the same?
Okay, so everyone's going shadow. They were just having different strategies for the initial mudflats, the nest quest.
Wow,
I
very,
guess every
very
one of them yeah. It's because everyone gets the decoy, so everyone just wanted to opt for that decoy.
And I think that's a big thing, because if you don't pick up that decoy and you want it, you have to go all the way to Siosa in Act 3. That's a long ways away from Uber, from Loud.
Yeah. That's definitely something you don't do. Go all that way in a race like this. I do expect them to level a little bit more than we're used to seeing here, because they're gonna be at a disadvantage depending on what kind of skill they end up with just before having to enter.
Right, that's a big thing, and definitely if the wheel were to turn in the lab, that's also a huge kind of just a wrench thrown in there. I'm not too sure how they're going to be able to compensate for these type of things. I was curious because I was watching Uber Elite before. I believe it was Uber Elite. He had 2 swords out. Everyone else had a wand while they're going through their muling, and that was kind of confusing me. But now I understand he was just going to change over anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. So also one I want to note here with the decoy pickup for everyone. Usually in a race, you pick up whatever can give you more damage. Stochasters in general will go for the decoy, but every other class has some kind of way to deal damage. You have either a ranged attack totem or you have the ancestral protector. But since there are 6 different skills and essentially 3 different archetypes that you're going to play, the only thing that you can use in all of them with no penalty at all is decoy. It's just the utility that works regardless of what skill it's rolling. So I'm really liking that pickup from all of them.
Look at DeadandDoom here with that huge energy shield down there. 26, I believe. At such a
wow.
level. 27.
Probably, yeah, it has the chain belt. Chain belt, it really does matter a lot early on. It gives you that great buffer, and especially when you're trying to speedrun, having energy shield is actually something that you shouldn't undervalue, because while you have energy shield, you have a 50% chance to avoid a stun, even if you're getting hit by something that stuns you.
Right, energy shield, I believe, looked over a lot in these low-level racing strats.
Yeah, and especially if you're doing boss fights as well, and you're have to kite a little bit. Then you can also just let that regen for you on top of the healing potion. So it can really be a big help.
And it looks like DeadandDoom just took down Hellreiki. I believe is he the only one who hasn't done this quest so far? Or is he picking up 2 Quicksilvers? He's picking up 2 Quicksilvers.
2
okay.
Quicksilvers. I think that's also a great choice here, especially if they are going to be muling and
Gucci doing the same thing, it looks like. Also picking up that 2nd Quicksilver right now.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see the double Quicksilver from pretty much everyone but Raiz, since Raiz was the only one who skipped the first attempt.
Raiz actually going... Oh, okay. So he did skip
so
it.
He skipped it, yeah.
He's picking up his first and initial Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. So he's a little bit behind. I think that first initial mod flats, if you compared it to everyone else racing here, he did have the worst one.
This is interesting, though. Since everyone did that big mule... their first skill really not paying too much of a thing here, just because it is almost 10 minutes. It is almost time for a new skill. So that freezing pole is really not doing too much here in the beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I think that might actually end up being a detriment to them, because let's assume that the first skill it swaps to is cleave. Then Ellie Shadow is one of the poorer ones for sure. So they could they might get a little bit unlucky there on that, depending on what it rolls on the first time around.
So in this next spin, what do you think this one skill is that would really give the hardest time for everyone at this low level?
I think Ice Shot. I think Ice Shot might be.
Definitely, they had to pick up a bow. You know, I don't know if they have them ready. I didn't look at anyone's inventory. They might have to go back and buy one if they can't find one. I believe
we're spinning. We're actually spinning.
We're spinning. All right, let's see what this is. I want to see the ice shot or shrapnel drop. Let's see what it is.
Come on.
And it looks like it's Molten Strike.
Oh, Molten Strike.
Molten Strike.
Okay.
Very, very strong on the single target. We've seen that in many races do really well against bosses. So I think a lot of people here are comfortable with Molten Strike. But DeadandDoom and Gucci...
Uber has the... okay, so everyone has the... they all have a bow in their inventory. They were ready.
Right. They were ready for that.
Swap, so they just click the weapon swap. And here we go, Molten Strike.
Right, and I was saying DeadandDoom and Gucci, the only ones rocking the wands at the time. So I'm assuming they did have a melee weapon ready in the waiting, and they do.
I think all of them are gonna go with the. So you have your caster setup in the first weapon swap, because that's what we started with. Then we have a melee weapon, the second one, and then the bow in the inventory. So
and interestingly enough, for Raiz, you know, he is rocking those scepters or whatever, but I think he's going to end up switching them out for some other traditional melee weapons.
I think he's using a dagger and a sword, from what I can see right now. Oh, gets a 3-link, doesn't pick it up. What? Right? Maybe that looks like a 3-link to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
maybe
you could put that with a support over there, but with the Tabula, maybe he's thinking that he doesn't really want to mess around with it.
You still want to have good links, though.
True.
Okay.
I mean, there are definitely things he can play off of. I'm not too sure. Maybe he just doesn't want to to deal with it right now. Maybe that wasn't the colors that he's looking for. He must have some sort of thing, some sort of strategy in his head where he's thinking, maybe I need, a specific 3-link, and I don't want to have to chromatic that at this level.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe he's just, I don't know. Maybe he's just thinking, I don't need it with a Tabula. I think it is important to have like good links as well, because you are going to have some utility skills, and you could use Leap Slam.
Leap Slam, a huge movement skill here, and it definitely isn't one of those things that they can't use. I mean, it's just the active skill that they need to pay attention to. They can put any other combination of movement skills, support skills like Decoy Totem, as we saw everyone muling for. And like you said before, Uber Elite, the only one I believe, or actually Uber and Doom, the only ones without movement speed. Do you think that's going to play a huge factor in these initial few zones in Act 1?
I think it will to an extent. It definitely helps. If everyone has Onslaught, which I'm seeing that, they all have Onslaught. It's not as big of a deal as it was in the past. In the past, movement speed was a... kind of mattered a lot more because you ended up running a lot more in between because you didn't have that Onslaught, so the time spent running was longer. But it definitely does help quite a bit. It shapes up a few seconds per zone, so the earlier you get it, obviously the better it is.
And Onslaught giving you not just movement speed, but attack speed and cast speed, making it really, really great for movement skills, such as Leap Slam, because Leap Slam being very, very slow, notoriously slow in the beginning, but having that extra Onslaught with a speedy weapon makes it very, very, very good.
Yeah, for sure. I am thinking, because even if it rolls, let's say it rolls a caster on the next run again, you could actually seeing them just stick with the weapons just to make sure that they could Leap Slam. You would still rock your 2 swords or axes or whatever, and just use the Tabula, the fact you have the Tabula for damage, kind of as the holdover, and actually not go for spell weapons at all. So I'm kind of interested to seeing what they decide on doing.
Yeah, but so we have right now 2 people on the ledge, Raiz and Dead on the climb. Miley Cyrus's favorite zone, if you didn't know. But yeah, it looks like it's a pretty close race. Raiz, I think, ultimately in the lead, even with that 1 Quicksilver. Everyone else did go back for 2. I don't know if that's playing a factor here.
It is. I think he should be a little bit in the lead still. I think around the end of the prison is where they should be catching up to him with the Quicksilver. In general, yeah. So, but he does have that movement speed, so that definitely helps him. But you see here, DeadandDoom already in the prison.
That's true. DeadandDoom did pass him up here. And chaining off the Onslaught with the Quicksilver, keeping up Onslaught, being able to alternate between those Quicksilvers while filling up the previous, very strong having 2 there. Now, the one thing I noticed when I run 2 Quicksilvers, if I'm using a very mana-heavy build, I usually have an issue where if you don't have a good mana flask, that's going to be a problem. Do you think anyone's going to run into that? Because I see DeadandDoom here with the small mana flask here. I don't know if that's going to play a role.
I know that the DeadandDoom in general is good with managing his mana flask and potion, so I'm hoping that he's not going to get thrown off too much by the fact that he has like Tabula and has to swap skills and all of that, because that's definitely something that can throw you off and throw you off your game if you have something planned, because normally he would be Leap Slamming with double mana potion in a few levels, so it shouldn't come unnatural to him at least to get the mana potions. But yeah, no, you're completely right. Everyone should definitely get, I think, at least 1 good mana potion or maybe 2 mediums, as it will help them a lot. With a 6-link, it costs so much more mana versus just having your regular 2 to 4 link.
And it looks like Raiz and DeadandDoom opting to go for this trial right away. DeadandDoom did make it through pretty handily, and Raiz as well at the 2nd phase. So these 2 players opting to go towards the trial, as I believe the trial is normally up towards the northeast on Lower Prison. I'm not sure. Do you know? Have you seen it anywhere else?
I have seen it a few other places here. DeadandDoom getting debated by Hako. Let's see if it actually curves around here, because I know that there's like this weird layout where you go to the left here, and then you have to curve all the way back around to come in and find the entrance.
Yeah, some of these new layouts are really throwing a wrench in for some of these players. I know I've had my fair share of issues when you're really used to the old 2.x type of patches and 3.0, giving out a lot of little weird layouts for sure on these maps. Uber Elite finally stepping into the lower prison, so a little bit behind, but I don't think it's going to play too much of a role here in the long run.
No, he does have that double Quicksilver as well, and he does have 2 good mana potions. He seems to be fairly set for like the next skill swap at least. Also rocking a call ring, and it's looking pretty good. I don't think he's out of it at all. I don't think Raiz picked up the. Did you see him pick up the trial? Did you see?
Raiz did. Raiz did go through the trial, yeah.
Oh, okay. So Raiz didn't. So Gucci didn't pick it up.
I don't think Gucci did. I didn't see him go through it, but Raiz and DeadandDoom definitely.
Okay.
They were doing the trial around the same time.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely saw DeadandDoom do it. Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see if Uber opts to go for it as well here. There's a little bit of kind of a choice to make, depending on if you don't. I would say if you don't find the trial immediately, you just skip it and come back later when you have a movement skill where you can jump over the traps.
Yeah, the first trial
can save you a bit of time.
The first trial really benefiting from a movement skill such as Leap Slam, being able to skip a lot of those alternating spike traps. So decent strategy if you don't find, like you said, if you don't find the trial, just don't waste your time and just go for Brutus.
I think I would go for it though, since they don't have great attack speed, so they can't leap slam 80 miles an hour. They have to walk around for the most part. You can't make up for it as much. So having to rerun an area takes a lot longer on a build like this.
And so, it looks like Raiz. Sorry, it looks like Raiz is going to go in here and fight Brutus. I think he's going to be able to take him down really quick. The Molten Strike. I'm worried about Uber Elite because we do have a new spin coming up. I don't think he's going to make it to Brutus before that new spin. And Molten Strike being such a strong single target damage skill, so Uber Elite might be getting punished here.
Yeah, Uber just not. Oh, he's just.
Oh, he is here. He did make it. Okay.
I think everyone else is going to make it just barely, but Uber might just miss out.
And having to switch that skill in the middle of a fight is just not something you want to have to deal with at all.
Okay, so Raiz coming in here first. Let's see.
Raiz doing the corner strat here. Just hits him in the corner with the Molten Strike, dodging some of those Sunders. Or Ground Slam, sorry, excuse me. Oh, he's getting pretty low.
Oh, getting low. And it's down.
Okay,
Raiz making in time.
Gucci just seems to be
just... Oh.
Pulls him in the middle and...
it's really low. Oh, he has to swap now. It's too late.
He has to go back. He has to go back.
Just made it, and Uber has to swap now. Okay, that's going to be another spin.
You're spinning right now. Uber Elite trying to do what he can while the spin is going on, since there is a few seconds that he can actually use this skill without having to swap.
That's right. There's a little bit of delay in between.
And Uber getting so low as well, and he just lives through that. Ekes by as Brutus wailing on him. The spin is completing right now, and we have Shrapnel shot going down.
Hey,
Uber Elite dies, goes down the Brutus. Oh no, Uber Elite jumping back in as fast as he can here.
He wasn't notified. Was he notified? We need to like.
Is there a grace period here? What? I don't know.
No. You have to swap immediately.
Uber Elite trying to sneak that in before the announcement. I don't know if he got it. We'll have to see. We'll have to get some information there. But Uber Elite maybe getting penalized somehow. Running back in, finishing up Brutus very low with the Molten Strike. I don't think he would have had any problems, but I think he was just trying to, racing mentality, wants to get things done fast.
Oh, Uber having a little bit of a trouble. Like, what do I use now? What do I pick up? He does have double Iron Ring. He does have a good bow ready. Oh, a very good short bow ready already. So he's definitely set for the bow. This is where Uber should shine as well. Like he's known for being a Ranger Racer in the past. Has done really well. So we'll see if he can catch up here a little bit.
So I guess you would say this is right in his wheelhouse.
This is
right with the Ranger.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think everyone else aren't really historically known for doing bow. Raiz is known for doing a lot of different things. Bo, I haven't really, I don't think I've ever seen him play it. I like the flame totem pickup here as well, just to always have some kind of damage. And with being shadow, you get that LE damage as well, and it can be used on every single character as well, to some effect.
So I just got news, or we got news that Havoc said he's going to start spinning before, so there isn't that grace period for these racers. So that's going to definitely throw something off for some of these people. If they're so used to thinking, I have a little bit of grace period, they don't.
Oh, maybe they're going to try and take advantage of that on the next boss fight if they're going to be stuck again, and yeah, we'll see. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
so
like you said.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say that flame totem is going to do a lot of work, especially for the people opting to go elemental. I think that's everyone pretty much going that elemental shadow. So I do like that pickup.
It is the only thing that can be used on every single character. As if you were running an ancestral protector or any kind of range attack totem, and you have to swap out of your initial weapon, well then you're kind of screwed. So that flame totem pickup from Raiz, I really like it.
And I think it's definitely something to point out that the Tabula Rasa.
Oh, Cooters.
What's up?
If you would take a minute to look down in the right corner, do you see something? I think. Are you familiar with Twink running?
I mean, I've done my fair share of it, but obviously not at this level.
Okay. So, what kind of boots would you like to get? Say you're doing like some nice Twink.
I mean, if
leveling.
I'm gonna start out, I would love to pick up the Wanderlust. You get that immune to freeze. You get the 20% movement speed, way better than a 10%. That's probably what I would want to pick up.
Okay, I think DeadandDoom agrees, and he's smiling.
DeadandDoom with that huge pickup, yes, on the Wanderlust. It's insane. I mean, not just the 20% movement speed. I think a lot of people look at that 20% movement speed, but the cannot be frozen is a huge thing, as well as that mana regen, because mana is a problem as a Twink, using so much mana for your skills, especially in a Tabula.
Definitely. We have some times here on the Brutus. On the Brutus kills, so Raiz was 1947, Uber 2035, Gucci 2002, and DeadandDoom 2000.
I like DeadandDoom calculating there. He wanted the exact 20 minutes. He said, I don't want any more, any less. And also, I don't think we heard anything about Uber Elite with that kind of mix up with the Molten Strike. I think maybe we're just going to let it go. I'm not sure. Sweep it under the rug, so to speak.
I think what happened is because we have people updating. So we have Jamsa here helping us out with updating all our racers. They're sitting in their own little channel, and so whenever a new skill is rolled, he is updating them. So Havoc was he was rolling the wheel on the minute, meaning that there is like a 20-30 second delay in between before the players are then notified.
And I mean, these players
actually wasn't.
Sure, these players, being the pros that they are, they probably knew this. They probably had it, calculated where I have this time. I'm looking at my timer. I have 30 seconds actually before I have to.
We have Raiz here.
Raiz taking on Merveil.
Oh, in a close race with DeadandDoom as well. DeadandDoom with a massive shrine. Such a nice pickup. Makes you
that
able
massive
to
shrine
so
can do
better.
A lot of work, like you said. Yeah, it's going to be a huge advantage here. I think DeadandDoom is going to be on top, but I don't know. Raiz with the flame totem, he might be able to do some work as well.
Raiz doing good damage here. Takes him down first.
DeadandDoom right behind though, about a couple
ballista
seconds
as well. The ballista will definitely do a lot more damage than the flame totem. Ballista has very high base damage. It's very slow on the wind up, but if you have a good stationary target, it definitely outperforms something like flame totem.
But Raiz definitely showing that he is in front here. He is in the lead, taking Merveil down to about 33%. And DeadandDoom, though, falling close behind.
So close.
And those teleports really causing a lot of time delay. But Raiz does take down Merveil first.
Let's see what he gets.
DeadandDoom. Gucci, though. Gucci, falling close behind as well with phase 2 now on Merveil. Uber Elite still a little bit behind.
Uber just jumping in. Entering as well. So close.
Gucci getting really low. Wow.
Also opting for that siege ballista for that more damage. It takes a little bit more of a min-maxing here, or a little bit of more inventory management that might be annoying, but it's only every 10 minutes, and if you have if you're still like in your early 20s, should be just fine.
And Gucci taking down Merveil pretty handily. Did get low. Did get a little scary for a little bit there in phase 1. Uber Elite now bringing Merveil to phase 2. So yeah, like you said, all of our racers pretty close together. A little bit of lag back here between Gucci and Uber, but I think they're going to be able to catch up for sure.
And to speak on what you were saying earlier as well with the movement speed, if you're looking at it, Uber is actually the only racer here without any movement speed. And he is just about like a minute behind, so that might have just been that no movement speed.
And I was thinking, you know, the 2 Quicksilvers with the Onslaught was going to do a lot of work, but Raiz showing that, hey, you don't really need to. I could do 1, and I can just hang with the best. And he is in front of everyone right now, so that's showing something.
Yeah, I think if you're good at killing and you're not over spamming your Quicksilver, I definitely don't think you need more than 1, especially with the Onslaught as well. You can get from pack to pack with that move speed, with that Onslaught, before your first charge runs out. You kill the next pack, get some new charges, and click again, and you're just gonna have this like constant.
And that is a higher level concept that I've seen, being able to manage your Quicksilver, not use it, you know, halfway through. Don't use it, don't spam it, but just wait until it ends. Use that that Quicksilver, get the Onslaught, get the refills. Because if you're not using them efficiently, you're not going to be able to kind of have that chain where you can just easily get the Onslaught and refill your potions.
Yeah, definitely a skill that you acquire over time as you race more and more, and you kind of get the feel of it as well as you get comfortable with racing. Over time, you know exactly how many monsters it takes, how big of a pack you need to kill before you need to start moving on, so you never kill too much or too little.
And it looks like DeadandDoom opting to go over here to the Chamber of Sins, while Raiz decides to go to the left, starting those quests first.
I don't think it matters too much which way you go. The only thing is that if you're a little bit under leveled, you would have to go out left first to get some of those levels, so you're not under leveled coming into the Sins. And
it looks like that's what Raiz was doing, as he did back out and is now going towards this den before he makes his way over to the chamber.
Oh, we got a spin.
Oh, we're doing a spin. Sorry. What we landed on. We are doing the spin early. I forgot about that. So we do have about a 30-second respite here before we see what they have to switch to. I think that shrapnel shot is super strong with the fizz to lightning, you know. So
yeah, the cyber shot is definitely a great pickup.
I'm excited here. I'm hoping Molten Strike. We're going back to Molten Strike.
Oh, back to Molten Strike.
I think, you know, I think Shrapnel Shot is definitely better here for the farming. They just got through Merveil, so Molten Strike not very good in my opinion for where they are.
Smiling, knowing, oh shit, did I remember to upgrade my weapons? What do I do now? Shit, I'm on. Oh, he does have a boarding axe. That's nice.
And like you were saying here, that's something you have to really keep in mind in the back of your mind. We will have we will have a skill swap, but that doesn't just mean we have to change the skill. We also have to keep every weapon up to date, pretty much.
Yes, you do. Especially the melee weapons and the bows, because if you have a bad setup on your bow or weapon, you're just not going to be able to kill, and you're going to fall so far behind.
And looking at Gucci's inventory, he is just filled to the brim with an arsenal of weapons. Look at those. He has a stone hammer. I see a stone hammer. I see a bow. I see a quiver. He's definitely packing up a lot of damage here. Being able to switch back and forth. He does have a jade hatchet. I like that for melee. It's usually a pretty good pickup at this level.
Definitely. The boarding being a little bit better. The
boarding, yes, being a little bit better.
Yeah. But Jade is the if you haven't found that level like 10 to 12 weapon, then the Jade is definitely the best. Oh, gets an acceleration shrine.
It's acceleration shrine. It's gonna be able to make quick work with so he's opting to go whirling blades here over. I guess they don't have leap slam being the shadow, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. So he's gonna opt for the whirling blades flame dash setup here, I presume. Oh, and a Quicksilver drop as well. Oh, and he goes down, tries to go through. Oh, he resets so far behind.
Yeah, it's
thrown
one of those
off a
things
little bit here.
where dying in certain areas actually could be really bad depending on where you zoned in.
What is this? It's like 2014 when people died to the Sparkers and
I've seen my last race that I casted the Sparkers being very hard to deal with, and he's still getting very low here in this group, just trying to handle these sparkly mages.
They're definitely still dangerous. There was after the shotgun change, they were updated again to do more damage to kind of make up for the damage loss of not being able to shotgun. So all the single sparks actually do more damage now. So it's not like you're out of the wood anymore after that change for the shotgunning. It's a little bit different now.
That's something I always bring up before. DeadandDoom being that really big, high-risk, high-reward type of player. You'll see him do extremely well, getting crazy numbers at the end of races, but sometimes the crazy number is actually the death count.
Yeah, he was definitely the one racking up the deaths in the previous race. I don't know if you did you check that one out?
I did not. I did not.
DeadandDoom actually for the first time in I think there's his 11th race where he didn't win, or like he won 10. Let's clear that up. He won 10 in a row, and then on the 11th he actually didn't win. So we'll see if some of that still is.
So Uber Elite opting for the Flame Dash, I believe, for his movement skill. I haven't seen him using anything else. I mean, he is using the axe, so not being able to use the whirling blades. Whereas DeadandDoom using that nice kitchen knife, as I like to call it, being able to whirling blades instead.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see him get. I would like to see everyone getting that whirling blades, as it's really gonna help them with their mobility. Shadow does get a very nice 12 attack speed node, and if you decide on, I need to check this. I'm just gonna check whether or not they get Blood Rage, because you can still accumulate a ton of attack speed if you want to with Onslaught, 12% attack speed. And the Blood Rage, that would be 12, 12, 24, 44 attack speed. That's pretty crazy with the dual will bonus as well. So even if you're playing this like generic caster bow melee setup, you can still go really fast these days with the Onslaught and Blood Rage. We got Rise now on Fidelitas as well.
Fidelitas here, definitely one of those.
Low damage
monsters
though.
Where I feel if he lands a crit, he does a lot of damage. Very, very scary mini boss here.
Yeah, definitely.
Gucci opting to do the trial as well. I think everyone else has done the trial. And Uber Elite now heading up to Fidelitas. Let's see how he handles it with the blue pack.
Luckily, it's just an extra life blue pack. They look scary being.
And he takes down
giant skeletons, but they don't actually do any extra damage. So
making quick work of Fidelitas, even getting that level, could have gotten that during that fight. Would have been
great damage there from Uber. He is the lower level, only being 13, I believe. He could definitely do with
but I mean that boarding axe he's rocking 62% increased physical damage and the 16 strength.
Ooh,
that's doing a lot of damage there with that Molten Strike. I mean, everyone else, if you look at their weapons, they're not doing too well on the mods. We do have a stock of melee gems, but that's really not something that's great.
Ooh, so one thing I'm wondering about here is I'm trying to situate where do they have their gems stashed? Because if any one of them is missing any of the spell gems, what do they do? I'm not sure if they can all. They can probably they can all buy them again if they should forget. But if you, let's say you put your Spark in your inventory and you forget to level it up and it swaps to Spark, you would have to go all the way back to Act 1 and buy a new one leveled up.
You have to go buy another one. But I mean, they are really cheap, being just one Scroll of Wisdom, so it's not going to be anything that's too crazy. And we see DeadandDoom getting low again, picking up that shrine.
And Gucci going very low here on Fidelitas as well.
Fidelitas
Uber did already. Uber already killed her, so he must have been catching up a bit here. I'm trying. It's hard to like really see who is how far and all that, but it's
Rise picking up that big old shrine in the Weaver's Chamber. He's going to take down this Weaver very, very quickly with the Molten Strike and the shrine, probably in 2 phases.
Yeah. I don't think
DeadandDoom
anyone
also
here is gonna...
working with the shrine too. On this boss.
DeadandDoom has the, you see, here is where the if you can manage swapping your gems a little bit and you're not 40 years old like someone like Raiz, it actually helps you a lot if you swap in that extra totem. Raiz really insisting on that flame totem, and I think it's punishing him a little bit here. He could have had both the Siege Ballista and here the Ancestral Protector on the last 2 boss kills, and he's losing like at least 10 seconds on each kill. And that's actually the only reason why DeadandDoom is on pace here. DeadandDoom does have that 1 death, but even so, Raiz could be with a substantial lead already.
Right, and I like to see this kind of different approach, though. If you look at all these streamers, or all these racers, excuse me, you're seeing that the support gems that they chose to go with, a little bit of similarity, but there is a big difference, too, sometimes, where I see Gucci, the only one, I think, using Chance to Bleed here on his setup.
Oh, Chance to Bleed really helps you on the bow skills and on the melee skills, adding that flat damage. So I'm definitely liking that. Like I'm seeing some Pierce action going on from Uber. He should definitely be looking to swapping that out, as again that will help you so much with the right gem in there. We have some double skills. Like I think everyone has both their main skill and a totem.
So everyone's taking down the Weaver before the roll. We're having a roll soon, so I think anytime you want to take down that single target that might give you some problems, it's good to do it right before the roll. Yeah,
it's definitely true. Definitely want to
Raiz,
rush.
Though Raiz is going to be jumping in to kill Cretin here, I think, and he's going to have to deal possibly with a swap if he can't kill him in time.
I'm fairly certain he's going to get.
Yeah, I think he's doing so much damage. Look at that. He says, you know what, Cretin, you are no problem. I don't even care about your ads. A lot of times those mobs stacking up a lot of fire damage there, doesn't even have to deal with them, just ignores them completely. Cretin going down so quickly, and we get the roll right now, so we're waiting for that that skill swap. I don't know, I'd like to see something new here. We've been rocking the Molten Strike twice now.
Maybe some ice shots.
Freezing Pulse. We're going back to Freezing Pulse. We didn't see Freezing Pulse used much in the beginning because we have the mules. I don't know, this is a pretty cookie cutter skill that people use sometimes as a caster. But I think it's going to be not a skill that they really want here.
Definitely not a skill they want, especially... Oh, and DeadandDoom going very low again. Can he make it?
Looks like he's possibly going to eke out here. Oh, he's getting really... Yeah, that regen is so slow on his life.
He's only on a large life potion. That's really what's setting him behind here. You see, Raiz, if you notice how fast he's regaining his health, Raiz doing so much faster with the greater.
Right, the greater life fast being a huge thing. I think that's something that people don't focus on all the time. But we see Uberly and
Gucci.
Got the
news. They got the news. And Uber having to swap around those gems, and he's on the boarding X going with the freeze pulse. Can he take him down now? Oh, did he get the kill? Oh, he did already get the kill.
I think he did get the kill. And it's one of those things with spells, the only thing in this game I can think of where you don't really need a specific weapon to use spells, right? Whereas, with the melee attacks, you need obviously a melee weapon. With the bow skills, you need a bow. I mean, it makes sense. But with spells, comes from your fingertips. Magic is in the fingers. That's what I've been told, at least.
Yeah, I guess that is true. In PoE, anything can happen as long as you have the fingers, I guess. But yeah, you can just. I'm actually thinking. They would definitely still benefit from swapping around to something like scepters, and this is where Uber might have been thinking ahead a little bit. I'm going to be molten striking and with my scepter. Like, he has a scepter and a boarding axe, so he has like the option of both, right? He's like a caster and a melee at the same time. So he's already prepared, where everyone else would prefer to swap around. You see Deadanddoom here with the dagger. I'm not really seeing him swapping out. Has he swapped out the axe as well?
I haven't seen the update, at least on this overlay. I think he's just sticking with that. I think he's sticking with that carving knife. Maybe hasn't found anything. I don't know. I mean, Whirling Blades being a great movement skill, but also having 2 Quicksilver with Onslaught, it's hard to beat that.
He just needs the dagger, though, to be able to Whirling Blades.
And I think that's something...
You can have a scepter.
Oh yeah. Can you dual wield a scepter and a knife though? I don't think you can you?
Oh, I believe you can. I believe you can dual
Okay,
wield.
I know there's some weird. There's some
you wouldn't
weird
be able to
limitations.
cleave and all that kind of stuff. But,
Right. I just know there's some weird limitations that I always forget what you can actually dual wield together. I guess it's.
I don't know. Now you're making me doubt myself here. I was fairly certain that you could just put on 2 different
No, I think
weapons,
people. I think people in chat are saying that you can. It is. It makes sense. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you? Right? It's just a stick.
Two melee weapons can always just be used together. It limits you with like you can't use cleave if you have the wrong one equipped and such. But you can leap slam if you have a leap slam weapon, and you can whirling blades if you have a whirling blades weapon. So as long as you have one of those in there, you're good.
Right.
And everyone just around an Uber, a little bit behind here. And then we have, I think the Pierce is actually not really helping him here, as he could definitely do with a little bit more damage. He has been catching up a little bit with levels, I think. Yeah, so we have everyone being 16. He's just about to hit 16, so I think he's been catching up in levels. So he was 2 levels behind earlier, and Raiz is he's just flying.
Raiz is doing a lot of work here, and it's one of those things, you know, even though you have a active main skill like Freezing Pulse, he does have the Flame Totem. There's nothing wrong about that, and the Flame Totem is doing a lot of damage here on these packs. Being able to set that totem down, run away a bit, and not have to waste the time shotgunning it with the Freezing Pulse, because the Freezing Pulse, you do need to be really close to do the max damage.
Yeah, that's true. He does get the Raiz getting the Diamond Shrine here, getting that freeze and every single hit, getting
just
that
pretty
shock.
much one-shotting every pack here, and he does gain a level even, and he's just burning.
Is he playing a Herald Bomber? This Raiz is back in his. This is his forte right here.
Yeah,
Raiz
just
Herald Bomber, easy peasy, going for crotch notes,
killing it here. Raiz here, just running through, making it all the way to the caverns. DeadandDoom also pretty close, so
yeah, definitely. I think this is really where Raiz is showing his strength. Like, he is so comfortable. Like, he is known for playing so many different skills, and he is like, there is like nothing stopping him. Like, a new skill is being thrown out there, he just swaps around, and he's just ready to go.
That runaway train right here in this race right now, being able to just smash these packs. The Diamond Shrine dropping off, and you can tell as he's zoning in that it did do quite a lot of damage, though. That Shrine was doing a lot of work. But he's still doing quite a bit of damage instead of, you know, one-shotting, maybe 2 to 3 shotting packs.
I think if I'm looking at the gems here as well, Raiz is actually the only, I think Raiz has the better setup as well. He has the double added lightning, added cold, and the onslaught. Oh, yeah, even oh, that's interesting. He has Flame Dash in there as well. So he has the triple active. So that makes it easier on the mana. And well, if he has if we have all these like LE nodes anyways,
yeah, it's
enough damage, he's just one-shotting.
I think a lot of people sometimes overlooking movement skills. Flame Dash, they all do damage. They're not just used to move. And Flame Dash, being able to really bounce off of that plus elemental damage that he has in the passive tree.
Uber still without the movement speed as well. And
looks like Uber rocking Freezing Pulse with the LMP. Not something I've seen in these races.
Like that.
He's going to lose a lot of damage just because of the extra projectiles. It does make a huge cone for the shotgunning effect, but I don't think you really need it. I don't think you need that coverage.
You really want to you want to get up and personal, just one-shot them anyway. So if you're trying to get that spread on the edge, it's not really going to help you much.
Maybe an overlook because you just have that set up for the shrapnel shot, for the ice shot, and just hasn't taken it out. I don't know, but I mean, he can notice that thing is huge.
I hope so. Otherwise, he's not the only one needing glasses. But I think, but the thing, LMP does work on both Molten Strike, on Spark, on Freezing Pulse. Like, it makes sense. But then again, it's all about the one-shot.
Raiz picking up the waypoint before the pyramid here and then decides to go back, I need to do the crypt. Is that something you think he had planned, or did he just remember, I haven't done this ascendancy yet? Or sorry, this trial yet?
I think it's something he planned. I think it's a good idea to go here. In general, what you see is you see people getting the attack speed buffs and all that to get their movement skills, faster casting, for flame dash, blood rage, and all that good stuff to get their mobility skill as fast as possible before having to run down. As that you have to going through the the Fell Shrine. Going through the Fell Shrine is actually a long run. So you want to have that like double quicksilver movement speed boots or any kind of good mobility, so you can do that as fast as possible. So you usually delay that a bit.
Right. Did you notice if Gucci and Uber, did they pick up that that trial? Because if not, Raiz and DeadandDoom so far ahead in this so far.
No, I don't believe that they had yet.
Because I mean,
it's not
Uberly
that much, is it?
I mean,
right, so
they're just getting into the Southern Forest here, or is this Northern
that's
Forest?
Still within a minute. Like we had around a spread of a minute going into Brutus.
That's true.
So with less than a minute here, it's still so close. I would say one death, and you have to rerun a zone, and you're literally like right next to them.
That's right. Gucci picking up this rare chest. Not going to have any problems here. It's one of those things, you know, you get stuck in melee, you get body blocked if you don't have a good movement skill refresh. You could really just get punished by those explosions, by those ice novas.
Yeah.
So Raiz, now in the Ancient Pyramid, DeadandDoom just walking into the crypt to do this trial. And the crypt sometimes a time sink, really, to get that trial.
Yeah, it is. It is. If you don't know the zone too well, it can definitely take a while. I think there is definitely a way to run it though, and I do believe that everyone here knows how.
And that's why they're here. I mean, it is the pros, right? Looks like we are now rolling for a new skill, so Raiz is going to have to switch it up for Val, which I think you'd like, because not something I'd want to have to deal with for Val.
No, Freezing Pulse would definitely.
Veil? Is it Veil, I believe? I call it Val. I hate that, but. Vol, sorry. Vol. I think it's Vol. This is like lessons on how to pronounce names there.
Yeah, I think it's Vol as well.
Spark. Okay, Spark's dropping down. The first time we've seen that.
Oh, okay. This is where Pierce comes in handy. This is where Uber is ready. Right, so we could immediately see him gaining some ground here if everyone hasn't been preparing. Oh, so they're going to be notified in 30 seconds. On the mark here, they're going to be notified. So Raiz might just end up making it, or it might. Oh,
no, Raiz is definitely going to have to switch because it's a long time before the spawn. It's a good 5+ seconds to get all the spawn.
I'm trying to figure out whether do we have if we could have a little update here, Hammock. Are they getting notified like on the minute?
He did switch over the Spark, so I mean,
a little early.
He did get notified. I think wanting to get that in there just so he can avoid if there are penalties. Taking a lot of laser damage here. Vol really scary. I think the only thing is being that laser. You know, it does take a little bit of movement speed to dodge, and it does a lot of damage.
It definitely does. This is one of the worst skills to use, though.
It is, but he's doing so much damage. He's already down to a half. He did get a good phase, I believe, with the hammer time. The hammer time keeping Vol up a lot longer, it seems like.
Oh, something I just noticed. Gucci is running around with 2 medium potions.
Yeah, that's something I pointed out before.
Sketchy situations. Oh, did you? Did I miss that?
Yeah, Gucci, I was saying, we were talking about the greater life loss on Raiz. Gucci's still rocking the mediums, and Uber with the medium as well, with compared with that large flask. I don't know. Maybe they felt like they haven't been risky enough to actually have to
yeah. All it takes, though, it's 1 Harbinger pack. The Harbinger pack was so dangerous.
Very dangerous. They don't give you anything in these races, really. The reward's not worth it. The experience not worth it, and the body block so strong sometimes, especially in these close-knit corridors.
And there isn't anyone on Reddit you can go and talk to here. It's you just have to deal with it. It's a race. But yeah, I want to see him. I definitely want to see him update those potions sooner rather than later, because that could definitely put him back. And the thing about potions as well is, It allows you to play so much more aggressively. If you can just run into packs and take that damage and just start healing it back up, you don't have to worry about whether or not you can go through a pack or not, as long as your potions
the
are
aggression factor being a big thing with those faster regen flasks. DeadandDoom finally upgrading to those two greater life flasks, and that's why it was so surprising seeing DeadandDoom being, you know, the very, very aggressive player that he is, only using large life flasks in early Act 2.
Yeah. I think this is actually a pretty good time, though. They do have a Tabula, and give any pro a Tabula, and they're gonna go fast regardless. Having to manage 6 skills should put you back a bit, but around a 50-minute kill though on Raiz, that's pretty good.
That's very good, and I think it's one of those things where a lot of players sometimes overlook the fact that Tabula, not just a 6-link, but it could be 2 5s, you know, 3 4s. Being able to put multiple active skills in the Tabula while sharing effective support skills makes it very strong. Being able to, you know, have that flame dash in your Tabula with the main skill.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot.
Something that lower players, I feel, see the 6-link and they treat it as a 6, right?
Yeah,
and not so much breaking it up all the time.
And the thing about raising is that once you hit that breakpoint, that threshold for where you one-shot, and you can see here, whenever he's flame dashing over things, they take a ton of damage, the monsters, and they pretty much just die to either a single spark or the burning ground that's left behind, and that's all you need. So the setup really working out well here.
Yes, and Gucci and DeadandDoom both on Vol right here. Looks like DeadandDoom doing a little bit more damage with that spark, but Gucci very, very close behind.
And Uber also getting very close here. It's such a close race.
Vol, one of those bosses where very hard to tame, really hard to move. You can't do too much. Looks like DeadandDoom having to go back to get some flask refill, I believe.
All you're hoping for here is you're just hoping that he doesn't. And that's exactly what happens. You're calling for it and you get it. Gucci getting another minion wave.
Right.
It really is the worst, especially when you have somewhat of a low damage. You finally get your setup, you get the totem up, you get the sparks rolling, and then, you baited, I'm going back down.
Those phase changes really frustrating just because you have to wait. You have to wait for Vol to do his thing. Gucci taking down Vol here pretty easily, though. And like we were saying, Vol, you can't move him. So Spark being a great skill in a corner, being able to maximize the projectile damage. But with Vol, it's just always in an open spot.
Yeah. It's definitely not the greatest. It's probably one of the, I would say it's probably one of the worst skills here you can have on this skill. Ice Shot actually does a good amount of damage, and so does the Shrapnel Shot. So
yeah, I think Uber Elite wanting that next roll coming up here in about 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, or Uber's going to want that bow skill. He seems to really shine with that bow, like you were saying before.
Yeah. I saw him put I think he's putting the decoy in the corner in hopes that Vol is actually going to spawn. You see, he's probably going to go down and do it now, right? So he's going to push the damage, and he's going to decoy in the corner and hope. No decoy. I did think he did do it earlier. Maybe he's just saying, "Oh, it's not going to work anyways. Let's just get the damage in."
But the damage not too strong here from Uber Elite.
Very low. Taking
a long time here, and that's going to cost him quite a bit of time. Raiz just burninating through the crematory here. And actually on Piety already and knocking her out into the corner. She's going to quit. She's going to tap out. And he's going to pick up that bracelet and be able to move on to the sewers.
I think this is where Uber really could get a trick or two from Raiz's playbook with that flame totem. If he had that, that's probably close to double damage.
Only really doing one source of damage.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Raiz with the flame dash. We gotta remember, not just the flame totem, but he does have the dash too to avoid the Vol skills, but being able to do damage in turn. You know, with being able to jump over Vol, doing the flame dash trail, fire trail, and doing extra damage there.
I'm seeing Uber with
Gucci. Having trouble here with this Harbinger pack, opting to skip the essence, I believe. I'm not sure if he was looking at that or what, or maybe I
just badly missed it.
I think I just mixed up two things going on. That was just that was a problem by me. But yeah, Gucci here, you know, he's doing pretty well. DeadandDoom looking like he is in second, I would say. Raiz the only one in the sewers.
I think if you're looking at everyone's setup, I think Raiz definitely is the preferred one here, right? He's a rare life damage, and some flat damage, and that ruby ring.
Right,
He
Raiz
has a leather belt as well, right? Like if you look at everyone's gear, like we have DeadandDoom and
it looks like Raiz is opting. Is he opting to pick up the bus? I think he is, as he did go and pick one up, going to the left side to pick up that bust. Or maybe he just decided, you know, he did go back. He did go back to get the first bus, so he is going to pick up the other two. How do you feel about that? Do you like that?
I like that.
It's only about maybe 10 to 15 second extra time, but you do get a skill point. It does let you reach out farther to maybe some key nodes. For extra damage.
It does. And it gives you a guaranteed blue pack. This is one of the zones that people have now started to farm a lot more. It wasn't really a farming place earlier on, and it's also very dangerous. Like you get one of those dischargers, like a rare discharger, and if you don't have the lightning rest, you can easily die down here. But with all these like very tight blue packs that are around, and all the busts giving you a pack as well, it's such a good zone to farm. And the thing is, going in a race like this, I think they would rather, because if they get stuck with the spell on Izaro, you would rather have like an extra few levels, so you get an extra gem level as well. And you would rather have maybe like a skill point extra to just give you like some extra life, some extra damage as you're going into this hour, because you really don't want to be underpowered, underleveled, or anything if you get like a bad skill swap during the Izaro fight.
And looking at the times here, we see Raiz having a commanding lead here, killing Vol in 51 minutes and 6 seconds. Really great time, and everyone else behind that, 53:44 for DeadandDoom, Gucci with a 54:03, pretty close to the DeadandDoom, and then Uber trailing behind with 55:37. I mean, Raiz really showing his prowess here. He's just doing so much damage, running through so quickly. Do you think anyone can stop him at this point?
I actually think it's a little bit closer than what is kind of what it looks like. If you look at DeadandDoom, he's actually ahead on XP. So DeadandDoom is ahead on XP. He does have that one death, but if we disregard the death, he's ahead on XP, and he's only like half a zone behind, which is not really that much.
Always one of those exciting players. You like to see him, like we were saying, high risk, high reward. I think he's really gonna push it here in Act 3. I'm gonna predict that he's gonna pass up Raiz at one point. That's my prediction.
I think on that, if I would have to chime in on that, I think it entirely depends on what kind of skill setup we're gonna see. If it keeps favoring the spells, I think
actually
Raiz
we just rolled. Sorry, we just threw a roll here. Ice shot being the pick. Really, it looks like he had a little smirk there. I think he's smiling and saying, "Yes, ice shot. Give it to me. I want that bow." I think Uber's happy.
Oh yes. Oh, he's so happy about this. Finally, something that fits his playstyle.
And he's switching right away. Look at that. He puts the ice shot in. Decides, I'm going to use this. This is what I want. This is my bread and butter. Raiz using the what kind of bow is that?
He's using a composite bow.
It's a composite bow.
It's a level 14 requirement bow. It's decent. Has good attack speed. It's a good base. I would say it's almost as good as a recurve, which is the one after, and then before, like, so you have the recurve or composite into recurve into bone. So
looking at
there's not a big difference.
I don't see. Oh, his bow is in his stash, but he can't use it. He does not have the requirements. It looks like. I don't know if he's gonna look. He's gonna look to buy a new bow, try to get something. I think it's the. I'm not sure. Was it the dex?
That's the recurve. That's with too much
recurve. He can't use it though. Is he gonna
buy?
He needs a jade amulet, possibly.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's gonna do. He picked up the recurve. Can't use it yet. Not sure what he's thinking.
That's a great wow. But, you even saw it. You saw him like saying that. Whoop, that was good. Okay.
That essence picking up so much damage, but not being able to use anything. So what is going to pick up the bus here to be able to put the points into the Fangs of the Viper, get the plus 20 dex, I believe, and pick up the use for that.
Can he get past this though? He's just running.
Not being able to do anything. He has no secondary skills. You're not allowed to use. You have to use your active skills, so he knows that. He doesn't want to take a penalty or even a DQ, so he's just going to run through, pick up the bus, pick up Fangs of the Viper, get the extra physical damage and that dex, which is going to be huge.
I like it. I like what I'm seeing right there. Right, he notices. Okay, I can't actually do anything right here. What can we do?
Falling
Picks up
down,
a single
apparently?
dex node.
Oh, picks
He
up a
can
single
respect
dex.
that later though.
All right. I thought he was picking up Fangs of the Viper. Maybe he had it already.
D&D died apparently.
Yeah, falling down.
Did you could you give me a recap? Did you see it?
Apparently it looks like he had an acceleration shrine. Or sorry, with the acceleration shrine giving that those monsters.
The rare discharger. And that's what we're talking about as well. Like with that sewer. It's those discharges. They're so scary, especially if you don't have really any good lightning res. And from the looks of it, he actually does. Like if you look at his gear, he has so much lightning res. It could
he
be
does.
That
I mean, the only one really rocking that 2-stone ring, a rare 2-stone ring with plus physical damage and a 6% cold damage roll. So good for Ice Shot.
But a bow with no roll on it, though?
Yeah.
He is not going to be flying here at all. His gear is atrocious for the bow character.
But, I mean, that Viper Rain recurve on Gucci with the 40% physical and 11% attack speed.
That's
so strong. And even the lightning damage on top of that, playing, nice with the plus elemental damage. Gucci's looking good here. He's sitting pretty, I think.
And then we have Raiz. Raiz actually has a good setup as well. He has flat damage on the composite, flat damage on the ruby ring, and flat damage on the amulet as well. And I think again, like he is running probably the superior setup here. He doesn't have LMP. Maybe he should be getting the LMP, but I'm not. I don't know.
I think he's been intentionally avoiding it.
I think so too.
He doesn't want to use it. I mean, it looks like it's working out okay. Ice Shot, one of those things where, without LMP, doesn't seem to be that big of a deal since you do have the spread from the initial hit.
I think you're right here because I think you use your mobility skill, right? You dash over, get that little bit of flame dash damage, the burning ground damage, and then you shoot behind, like you shoot through the monsters and get the cone effect to hit everything else, and everything just dies and all those damage effects.
And without LMP, not as much spread, not as much coverage, but more and more damage, pretty much.
Yeah, it helps on single targets so much, which is pretty much the only place you really struggle, I would say, because you can just take out these, like every single area here is kind of like tight. You have to you run through. You see this area right here in the what's the song called again? Man, old age is setting in.
Which one who are you referring to?
Raiz here.
Oh, Raiz over here in the catacombs.
Oh, the catacombs. Oh, I'm sorry.
They call it the catacombs.
Yeah, but the catacombs, right? You see a zone like catacombs. It's just tight corridors everywhere. All the packs are always
DeadandDoom's Twitch girl? I don't know.
Oh shit. Do we have him back?
Internet issues, all right.
That's internet. Oh no, not today. Not that like this. He already took one loss today.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's just unfortunate. Honestly, I would have liked to see the rage quit, but the internet issue, not something I like to see.
I would like if we could maybe call his parents. I wanna know if he's okay here. Maybe it's a couple of deaths. I don't know. Maybe he just pulled the plug.
It's possible after taking that second
death. We have seen it before. I don't hope it. I will say I've been pleasantly surprised by Mr. DeadandDoom. Like sticking in the races, like even when he starts getting a little bit lucky, he even got the Wanderlust in this race as well. So like, even if he gets a death, like he has the gear, he has everything he needs to just like push through and actually still win it. So I want to see him come back. I really want to see him come back here. Oh, Uber is going. Oh yeah, that's right. He skipped it. Oh, where is he going? He sees the bookshelf. Doesn't notice it on the map.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Uber forgot. I forgot about this. He actually skipped the prison.
Looks like DeadandDoom. Someone's saying, I don't know. Is he back? I don't see his stream up.
Oh, he might. So we have them all on their own little channel with Jamsa, who's giving them the updates.
Yes, I see him in Discord, so possibly he will be rejoining us.
But I want to see him come back here and really show us that he is not tilted, and he is just, even with a DC, he's gonna come back strong.
I mean, he was doing pretty well. I think a strong second, so he still has ability to come back in this race. It's not like he's out. We can't count him out.
Rise getting a bubbling flask on his giant.
Oh man, the bubbling flask is going to do so much work, and on a giant flask, even better. He's going to definitely use that all the way through Zara. Bubbling flask being that perfect oh crap button when you when you really need it most. It's going to let him really face tank a lot more damage, make a lot more risks, or take a lot more risks. I really like that pickup. That's one of those things you just always want on a flask.
Definitely. And we're seeing him. So one thing you can do as well with something like Zara, you can have your initial flask rolling, your healing potion, right? The damage, like the overtime healing potion. You take that hit, and then the moment you start taking too many hits and your life dips like below, like you're okay dipping down to 50 if you can then go back up to like 90, 80, 90%. But when you start dipping into like 30, 40% maybe, you want to like just bubbling up and get back into like a healthy state and just face tank some more. That's definitely something you can do with the bubbling, and it gives you so much extra damage if you can just like stand in there.
I'm looking now. Gucci picked up that rare Amber Amulet. I didn't pick it up, but he has a rare Amber Amulet, which is, I don't know if he's going to opt to try to get another one on this quest reward, but 7% increased fire damage, probably going to help him out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, there's not much he can really chime off of. I think Rise probably wanted that more, sitting with the Flame Dash Flame Totem for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think he would definitely be liking that a little bit more.
But we are seeing a lot of damage with that bow, that recurve pickup that Gucci did get with the Essence roll, the lucky Essence roll.
Crazy
doing
roll.
A lot of damage, pretty much just going through a lot of these frail trash mobs in one shot.
I think looking at it right now, if he can he needs to find a quiver right now. Maybe he doesn't. That's the thing as well. Maybe he doesn't have quivers enabled on his loot filter. It might be. He might have never played bow before, and he just has bow. He put in the bow because he's probably thinking, I normally run cleave. I normally roll Molten Strike and a caster maybe. So I'm getting some bows here. So let's just put that in the filter as well. Completely forgetting that they actually have quivers as well. So he might have a bow, but there's no arrows.
And we are getting a new roll, so I'm not sure what Gucci is thinking about that. He's probably thinking, crap, I just got a great weapon, and it only does last 10 minutes, so he's not going to be able to use it for much.
We have Rise coming in on the last trial here. He's so close. He has the potions ready already. It's actually perfect timing for Rise here. Now he wants to figure out the skill, set himself up, pretty much just figure out everything he can that is not the skill, or maybe he knows already. He might actually know it. He might have gotten the Spark.
Yeah, we got the Spark roll here. I wouldn't want this, honestly, for Lab.
Rise doesn't want it either. You see the dance game in his face.
It's definitely one of those things that's like one of the least skills that I'd want. I would least likely skills that I would ever pick for this lab. I mean, I don't know when Rise is going to jump in, but
he has to go now. I think I think you go now regardless. You just
go
have
in.
To.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be It's going to be a long fight. I haven't looked at lab today, the setup. I don't know if there's any great, dark shrines right away. If there is, maybe he's going to have to rely on that. I'm not sure.
So if you go Sunder, so in general, the Sunder races going into like around like the 20, 22, 23 level Sunders, they usually do lab in anywhere between 4.5 minutes to 6. So can you do it like say 4 minutes slower? I think you can. They're a little bit higher level. They're a little bit better gear, I would say in general. They have a Tabula on the Spark, so you can definitely do it within those 10 minutes. So you're definitely not waiting. You're going straight away.
So looking at lab today, there is actually a dark shrine with the reliquary of the trinket on the first zone. So picking up that dark shrine, getting a lucky bonus shrine here could be really, really strong.
Definitely could. What do we have for the lab itself?
I don't know what the buffs are on Nazaro. I'm trying to look.
So we have dual sword, lieutenant, and conduits.
Wow. Okay, conduits. Pretty scary, actually.
Especially with Spark. Spark is, if you can,
and looking at Rise here, jumping through these packs, flame dashing through, taking a lot of damage just in travel.
Yeah. No, definitely a dangerous zone here if you don't have good damage. And Spark AoE is not that great at this point. Oh, gets a great pick up here on the Amber. I think I saw some resist on there and the life, so that definitely comes in handy. Resist is really powerful against Cesaro.
And the lieutenant too coming in there. You know, it's really good. And he's going to opt to not go for the Dark Strike, not go for a Trinket, and just go straight up. Maybe he's just going to try to take down Cesaro. Do you think he's going to try to go for a full buff? Do you think he's just going to, you know, what is he playing? No, he's going to take out the lieutenants first.
I think you take out the lieutenants because
he's taking so much damage from that barrage. Oh my gosh! Wow, so low on that lead time as well.
Oh, it doesn't move. Couldn't move.
Does he have a
decoy? He really wants a decoy here. I think.
He's opting to use the flame totem, the entire time.
So. I guess that's fine.
I think he's thinking, I need to take down the lieutenants. I need as much damage as possible. Spark's not going to do it for me. I'm going to have to rely on a flame totem with the spark. Two lieutenants up.
I like that for now, especially when taking down the lieutenants. Because you don't really need, like, the flame totem will do a lot of work there. I would actually like to see the decoy, though, coming a little bit later, especially after the kill here, because you could get him in the corner with that.
Right, it's possible
in the corner, then spark.
He's doing the flame totem, like you said, for the lieutenants especially. Maybe going for the decoy as well in phase 2 with the conduit, since you don't really need too much air. Bring him into the corner, like you said, and just spark him down. Possibly his strategy. I don't know. I still see the flame totem out here, but he does have lieutenants
up. He's doing okay damage here, though. He's whittling him down.
Lieutenants, yeah, really low. The lieutenants almost dead. At least the first two.
And he did get the most dangerous one out of the way quickly. He has some decent resist.
That bubbling flash, though, I think just giving him a lot of advantage here. Being able to hit that when he gets low. Because Cesaro known for a 2-tap. It gets really low again, but then again, just reacts with the bubbling flask and brings him out of immediate danger for that one kill. That one-shot kill after, you know, the initial damage.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think he might have gone down. Had he not had that, I think he might have actually gone down on that initial...
Because the recovery on the life is just not fast enough against Cesaro at this level. And we did
definitely not when you're playing like with the Tabula. You have no evasion, you have no armor. Like every single hit just hits you. And
he does take down phase 1. I mean, not too handily. It was a little bit rough, but he did take it down. So he's going to move on to phase 2, and I think he's going to do better with the conduits, just because you don't have as much, you know, monster.
Yeah, those monsters in front, especially when you don't have pierce or anything, they just soak up every like spark, every damage, every point of damage like coming in is just soaked up by those. So it takes so long if you have extra ants. It would have been interesting to see had we had portals as well, because if you fall behind on portals with spark, then you're just done for. You're just never gonna get through. But luckily it's just conduits. But conduits is also dangerous because you could get frozen, you could get shocked and just immediately die.
And it's a little sad to see DeadandDoom, I don't know, pulling the plug, maybe calling it quits earlier on, because he was really in there for second place, I believe, against Raiz. And Uber Elite and Gucci still quite a bit behind. None of them even stepping in the lab yet. Gucci is finishing off this last trial, but I mean, Raiz is sitting there starting phase 2 very quickly.
Yeah, Raiz has been flying all the race. I think he definitely had the superior setup. Oh, taking some damage. I mean,
the one thing here is you can't count these other racers out. If Raiz does falter and pulls, you know, a bad move and dies, he has to restart. So I mean, it's not like these other two can't catch up. But of course, if Raiz doesn't make any mistakes, he pretty much has the victory.
He definitely should have. I'm not sure whether or not. Okay, so no, it doesn't seem like he gave up. So DeadandDoom. Okay, so I just got that. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
DeadandDoom, I don't know. That is quitting. I don't know. I think he's in the peanut gallery now, maybe heckling even, as I see him on Discord. So he definitely isn't having too many internet problems. But I'm gonna chalk it up to just getting, you know, getting a bad run and calling it quits.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
That's
internet. Maybe it wasn't it. I don't want to. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, I don't know him too much as a person.
With internet issus,
it
you
could
can't
be an
really
issue
fault
thing.
to anyone. Like that. Let's say that he keeps getting like 300-400 like MS or a ping or whatever, right? It's like everything is just not working, or you try and you die and you take another death, and well, sometimes it's just not working out.
Right. It could be the high latency. It could be the disconnect and thinking I didn't get back until, you know, 2 or 3 minutes. But Raiz though getting really low here.
That was so close. And this is one of the trickier ones, because you have to wait. You have to constantly wait until all 3 conduits are up, so you can click all of them off. You want to get him just low enough just before, and then click all of them off, and then push him to the next phase.
It's one of the, oh wow, getting really low hits. That bubbling flask saved him, I'm pretty sure, from that instant death. That bubbling flask, like I was saying before, doing so much work here. Bubbling flask being so strong, especially, and he got the roll on that huge giant life flask, right?
Did you see that instant click? He knew exactly when that was coming back up. Does he have a timer? Do we have some kind of what is that thing called? Well, we probably shouldn't talk about it, but there are some programs out there that kind of shows you some timers and stuff. Maybe
Raiz using the raid timer from World of Warcraft add-on for sure.
Ooh, and the slash. Oh, this.
I see him sitting here with a flask that is out. I'm not sure if that's his. I don't think that's his bubbling. Maybe it is. With those resub notifications too. Maybe giving him a little bit of you know, extra energy.
I've been asking for a refund here. There was no reaction.
Look how low he was. No reaction. Doesn't think anyone says, you know what, I got a race. You're not important. No motivation here from his subs.
Oh. Those slashes, just one time when the slash hits plus like a barrage, or it could go the other way so quickly. Ooh, dashes out of the way. Good dash, good damage. Oh, one shrine. Wait, was there 2, or was it just the one? The lightning one is still up.
I'm not sure if 1 snuck in there. There's definitely 1. I'm not sure if 2 made it, but Raiz doing that one, you know, I had a little bit of problems. Definitely a bubbling flask saving him countless times here, but being able to make it to hopefully phase 3. Uberleap finally making it through the passage. He's just so far behind on this. Gucci as well. Is he farming is he in the docks right now? I'm not sure.
He is in the docks. I think he might be leveling a bit here. He might be thinking, okay,
well, I don't know. Maybe he's
still coming up in 1 minute. I hate Spark, and I just wanna go for the second. Right, so he recognizes I'm not catching up to Raiz. So the only thing I can hope for is that he dies, and I'll just level in the meantime, and then
Raiz
pop past him.
Having to switch in the middle lab, maybe a blessing, maybe a curse, but Molten Strike landing on the roll. Such a good single target damage, but you have to get in the face of Azara, which is very scary.
Oh, it's Molten Strike. Oh, you just said, oh, I'm just an idiot. I didn't notice. You just
Molten Strike doing a lot of damage, like we were saying.
Oh, he's a boarding access. Oh, that's terrible.
Look at Raiz saying, I'm just gonna throw this out. I'm done. At one point, it looked like he was gonna throw the bow out, saying, you know what, I got this in the bag. I got Molten Strike. I don't need my weapons anymore. I just need this one Molten Strike weapon. I don't need the bow. But he does opt to keep it. Maybe
I think that's
showing a little bit of arrogance.
This could go
I'm not sure, but this could go very wrong. He's picking up the Dark Shrine though for the last phase. That's very good, but it could be just additional key. Maybe twice blessed. I'm hoping he gets something good. Maybe a Diamond Shrine. Do you have any predictions for this Dark Shrine?
I think we might be seeing. No, I think maybe twice blessed. I think
twice blessed, getting those extra glove enchants. You know.
Yeah.
Make a
They're
big
good
difference.
early on. Very underrated.
And he picks up. What did he get? Additional key on death.
Nice.
Gonna be able to pick up that fat loot at the end. To the victor go the spoils.
You might as well make the most of it, really. Definitely. Like, if you know you have a big lead, why not get an extra key?
Uber Elite picking up that last trial. Gucci, I think, he's going back to Act 2 to pick up a sport gem. Hovering over faster attacks, is that elemental damage, I believe?
That was elemental damage, yeah, and faster attacks. Definitely 2 very good pickups.
Wise, though, walking into this A-trip, and then he's going to do this phase 3 really quick. Just has to make his way up through this lab part here. And, I mean, if Raiz has good mechanics on dodging the barrages, dodging the strikes, the leap slams. He should have it in the bag, but you know that's a lot.
But it's really difficult, especially when he's not using a decoy. Because I think here, I don't know. Is it better using the flame totem? Because if he has to get in there, like he has to use the skill.
Technically, he could end up just using the flame totem. I don't think there's any rule saying you have to hit him with the multi-strike.
You can use it for sure.
Maybe just has to hit it one time.
Can it clear? Like, can it clear
he can do it, but it would take way too long. I think it just take too long. And then because we have Gucci here coming through the lab now, do you think Gucci's going to opt to pick up some Dark Shrines, maybe help him cover some ground, get the lucky Diamond Shrine, get the lucky Acceleration Shrine, something like that to help him catch up this?
Well, if he's done his research, I would say probably it's a good idea. Like if he gets, can you get a Divine Shrine at this point? That would be insane. If he's just immune to damage all the way through, that might. Because then he might actually have a chance, right? If Raiz is doing the slowest kill of all time, maybe.
But Raiz is going into phase 3 now on the aspirant trial, taking on Azara for the third and last, hopefully last time. That's what he's thinking at least.
And Uber entering as well here.
Uber walking into lab, yes.
Gucci starting right now.
Starting the first phase, but doesn't have any buffs. I don't think he even picked up a trinket.
Okay.
I don't know. How do you feel about not picking up trinkets? Being able to take down those ads really quickly maybe would help. And it looks like
I think
Raiz here going in really quick with the flame tunnel, like we're saying, flame dashing over to dodge some of those melee skills. Multi-strike doing a lot of work.
Dodging, though. Like really good dodging. Like the potion's doing so much work. Just does so you step close to Zaro and you go through him, or just like.
Oh man, and we see Gucci going really low as well, so he's struggling with phase 1. Raiz not struggling too much so far with this last and final fight, being able to sidestep all of those barrages, those leap slams. Does take some damage here and there, but not enough for him to really falter.
Raiz has really good mechanics here on his flame dash. He's just dashing away from every...
Gucci, I think, just went down. He's not in the line where I missed it. I was looking at Raiz. I think he went down there in phase 1, so that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Uber's in second now then.
Right, and Raiz hitting that bubbling flask. He got knocked down to half-life, hits the bubbling, goes back up the full, and he's safe again. That bubbling, like I said, doing so much work. And sometimes opting not to use it to be able to conserve his flask charges, a very smart move. You don't want to use your bubbling all the time because you want it when you really, really need it.
Yes, exactly. You only want to click it whenever you take like a big hit and you have to recover immediately.
Right, a big hit, or if you know there's a second hit coming in succession very quickly to prevent that instant death. He is getting low, but like we're saying, being able to use those flasks very efficiently.
Sustain, yeah.
Right. Taking down those extra mobs, getting the flash recharges with the flame totem, very, very effectively.
I like the enfeeble here as well, like recognizing, well, I am actually taking a lot of damage. Like if you put on that enfeeble, it makes your healing potion so much better as well. If you take, say, 50 damage less per hit here, per swing, well, then that's 50 damage less that your healing potions has to like recover, and it's so good.
And I think Enfeeble, one of those things where people overlook, it's not just less damage from the enemies, it's also the accuracy, it's also the crit, lowering the crit multi as well as the crit chance. There's a lot of work that Enfeeble does, not just base damage reduction. And he's going very low, but does sidestep and uses one of those greater flasks. It looks like, I think, Uberleap, the only one opting to go with the Quicksilver, maybe trying to catch up, play some catch up here.
The Quicksilver is good if you would. I would say the only reason you would really go with the Quicksilver is if you actually roll it here. So you really have to. Well, if mana is not that much of an issue, and it really is not Molten Strike, so it's kind of okay just having one mana potion because you do have that Alira buff already, or the Alira mana regen. Extra, and that's actually enough. So you can go with that Quicksilver.
Right, Gucci here restarting phase 1 already, so he made it back, but got so low there. Gucci almost dying, being able to hit those flasks, being able to spam them. Raiz is going low as well, but he's been pretty much playing this really cool, really calm, getting down the health, you know, letting in the regen, hits the bubbling when he needs to. He's playing so well here. He's showing so much poise, and I think it's just that experience really shining right now.
And to your point earlier as well with the enfeeble, with the accuracy and crit, it also means that Izara is not going to afflict status ailments and crits on you.
He goes down to about 25% here, but dodging the lead slam.
Just one crit there, one crit, and he dies instead survives, right? So
getting low, but yeah, Izaro's so low as well. I think he's got about another maybe 30 seconds or so before he takes him down. Maybe even less, actually. Izaro's really low. How do you feel about swapping and Culling Strike in these situations on your totem or something? Is that something that you think for phase 3 is worth it, or is it just the damage loss not worth?
So I would say it would go something like this. If you have an abundance of alterations as you're doing your Act 2 vendoring for gems, you might as well pick it up. In any other scenario, don't bother.
Oh, and then, I mean, Raiz going low, but he has such great flask management. Never has more than one health flask completely empty. Always has 2 ready in the waiting. So he's not having any of these flask issues with the health regen. He's not even opting to use any flask until he really needs to. Look at that. Look at that. Just, I don't know. Oh, and he takes down.
And the double Izaro gets rewarded.
Gets the double key. Easy clap in chat for sure. And wow, what is that time? I didn't see it, but
127.14.
120 is obviously right there on the screen. 127.14, a very good time, considering the fact that they did have tabulas. We did have, you know, some sort of Twink thing. Getting that 28-month resub. That's a huge resub. Damn. Going crazy here with the lights. But yeah, 127.14, a very, very strong showing. And for the wheel race, this is a new race. We've never seen this before. People, these are the beta testers in a sense of this race. And
yeah, they definitely are.
Raiz showing that, you know what? Throw any skill at me, I got it.
I can do it. And it really showed. I gotta say, it really showed throughout the entire race. He was just so comfortable. He was not picking up too many things. I think if you're looking at especially in the beginning, I was seeing pretty much everyone else but Raiz were picking up so many things. Their inventory were cluttered. They're not really sure what they should get for what moment and all that. And it's just, but Raiz, he was like, I know this.
And I think that's true. It's something to point out. Raiz, you know, having to go through 6 different skills. I mean, we didn't see Cleave. We didn't see, is that the only one? We saw everything but Cleave, I think. Right?
Everything but Cleave.
Everything but Cleave. But, you know, the thing is, Raiz would have said, give me Cleave, I got a Flame Totem. You know what? Give me Molten Strike, I got a Flame Totem. Pretty much anything he could pair with that Flame Totem with that extra added of the fire damage, right? And the elemental damage. Mm-hmm. I think his pocket skill was really the Flame Totem. I think that might be the MVP of his setup.
I think so too. I think recognizing that that's actually going to help him regardless of setup. If you think about it, the only thing not benefiting from Proj damage as well is Cleave. So that is quite lucky as well that
you have a roll in the middle of lab. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but phase 2 going to be really hard with conduits, and Gucci's going to have to switch in the middle maybe of this fight.
That's going to be pretty. Oh, he scores so low as well.
Can he? Twice down to sub-10.
Molten Strike again.
Molten Strike doesn't have to switch. So strong for these racers right now. Not having to do anything, being able to keep their focus and not switch, not go to their inventory, not interrupt. You know, hiding in the corner, swapping things quickly. Such a big benefit here. Not something I'd like to see, but it is nice for these racers.
Not the easiest skill to use in Izaro though, especially with these squishy shadows. I think Uber might actually struggle. Only 500 life. Almost dies to the ghosts here.
So I just want to do a checkup here. We have level 24 Raiz getting level 24, finishing the lab. Uberly also level 24, but Gucci 2 levels above both of those players here, probably getting a little bit of benefit from that. And it's kind of interesting, but if you look at DeadandDoom, who did quit out very, very early in this race due to, I don't know, he was level 23.
And that's what I was saying. He was looking so strong. He was so close. Yeah, he might have been like half a zone behind, but he had those like a full level, and we know how strong he is, like mechanically as well. Like I was definitely not, like I was thinking that's going to be such a close race, even with Raiz being ahead.
Raiz here just doing a little victory lap, I believe, in the Aspirin's chamber or whatever. Just walking around saying, you know what, look at this. I got my Cobalt jewels. I got my, I got my rares. just walking around. I think maybe talking to chat, explaining, you know, what he was thinking, and then Uber Elite here jumping in. Is this phase 2, I believe, or just phase 1?
Ooh, is this phase 1 or 2? I'm actually not sure. Let's see. He does. Okay, so you can see there.
Looks like phase 1. I think it's phase 1.
Is it? Yeah, I think you're right.
No, it's phase 2.
No, it's phase 2.
Phase 2. Did
and
he pick up a trinket?
He can disable one permanently.
So when it comes to these trinkets,
he clicked. Okay, so this is a mistake, I think.
Right. I was gonna say, when it comes to these trinkets, do you use them effectively, or do you use them to, you know, just disable the first one? I feel like you should go for whatever damage you're gonna take the most from, right?
Yeah, he should have been disabling either the lightning or cold. He has 58 fire rest on his gear, and he disabled the fire one.
This is something that I feel like some players don't. They overlook. They think, I need to, you know, stop this thing as quick as possible.
Immediately, yeah.
But it should be one of those things where you pick the one thing that's going to do the most damage to you. And like you said, fire resist not being a huge problem for right now. He has 50%.
Not at all, and you have so much time to just. You have so much time to
dealing with the last and final phase of Azaro. He is taking a lot of damage, getting knocked down pretty low, but he does also have 3. Yes, he has the decoy jump. He has 3 giant life flasks. Going to do a lot of damage. Doesn't have to deal with as much flask management compared to that of Uber Elite, having only 1 mana flask and opting to go with the Quicksilver.
So, or does he have the decoy, or is that? I
don't know. I don't think he's using. No, looking at his hopper, he does not. He does have a decoy. He does have a good decoy.
Yeah, it's in his gloves. I was just trying to find out the level. So he's a level 7 decoy, because strength could be a little bit of an issue on something like Shadow, but it seems that it wasn't. So
and he's just doing so much damage, bringing Azaro into the corner, decoying those ads.
This is what I was talking about with the decoy.
He's just gonna sit here. I think he's gonna sit here and just finish Azaro.
Oh, no.
He's getting so low. He's gonna sit there. He's gonna move out of that ground, out of that Sunder, and he does. I think he's gonna pick up the kill right here.
Down.
And he does get him.
Actually, very close. Like, Gucci, not really even that far behind. He was really 10 minutes or so.
Wow, Gucci's saying, you know what? I'm gonna laugh in the face of danger. I'm gonna take those phase tanks. I'm gonna take the damage, and I think he said, maybe not. Maybe I'll back up a little bit. You know, getting down to about 20% or so. Kind of scary. Easy class for sure. Going into the chat. Gucci finishing with a time, a solid time, mind you, even though he did come in second. 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 5 seconds. Very strong. I think most players would be very, very happy with that time.
He did lab way more. Like, he caught up at least 5 minutes on Rise on the lab. He was so much faster.
And I think this is something I like to see this Rise looking at Havoc's stream, really watching, looking at his competitors. I think evaluating. Look at that smirk though. Look at his smile. He's so happy. I think he's saying, I had that win in the bag the whole time.
Uber as well doing quick work here of his arrow. Very well played. I don't think there was a single. I think he disabled every single one of them. So it's gonna be a cakewalk here on the.
Gucci picking up his ascendancy here with the Saboteur. Wow.
Oh, he could have used that earlier. That would have been nice. Blinding his arrow. Man, he should have thought of that a little bit before.
Pick it up a little bit too late. Yeah. Too late in this race. But Gucci, you know, hats off to him. Did a really, really good job. Was struggling as, you know, Act 1. Act 1, he seemed pretty strong. Act 2, trailing off a bit. But does pull in a very, very strong second right here. And Uberly, I think, jumping close to the 3rd and final phase. This is the last.
This should be the last song.
Right.
Uber also looking fairly solid here throughout this. Yeah. I think he should have this in the bag. I wanna see him like with a strong finish. He has been struggling a little bit. I will say something about Uber. He usually he tends to like struggle a little bit early on. I think that's mainly because he wants to have everything perfectly. He likes good preparation. That's something that you definitely know out of Uber. Any race he participates in, and he has a plan. He has a plan for his hour. He has a plan for like all the different gear he wants, and sometimes it kind of gets away or in front of him a little bit, right? He focuses a little bit too much in getting all the piece of gear, but he always finishes strong, and that's really something that
definitely has a very good head above those shoulders. Very smart, very cerebral, and look at that hair though. So luscious, and that's hard. I know that's hard to maintain. Long hair is annoying sometimes, and he's I believe the only racer here with that hair. So I got to give him credit there. I'm gonna ask him. We're gonna ask him. I might have to ask him about his shampoo condition regimen.
I know that Lara as well asked him about that, so there must be something to it, apparently. I will say, like, I do tend to not look at it too much because whether or not I want to admit it, I am a little bit jealous.
Have you ever thought about rocking the the shoulder length, maybe growing it out a bit?
No.
Just no.
No.
How about growing out of maybe a big beard, a nice bushy mountain
I'm
man?
trying.
Can you do that?
I am Asian, so
or genetics.
it takes a while.
Going against you there, yeah. Oh well.
I'm considering maybe something. I know a lot of people consider it a little bit racist. I don't know. I think a beard is just a beard, but the Fu Manchu thing.
The Fu Manchu. I mean, that's a classic, right?
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Looks like Uber Late, though, getting pretty low here on the last and final fight. He is going to sit in there with the Molten Strike. I don't think he's going to have the switch. Maybe if he takes a long time, he might have to. And everyone rocking the Herald of Ice here on Uber Elite.
Yeah, I like
Gotta
the
help him.
heralds here, especially when you're dual wielding.
Getting
That flat damage comes in handy
The
so
flat
well.
damage great. Getting the slow sometimes really helping too.
Yeah,
being able to avoid those shots. Azaro does knock him down to 50% in one swing, and it wasn't even a skill. He just said, you know what, I'm just gonna do a normal attack on you, 50%. So that's Azaro is scary. He is a scary
Azaro
boss.
does a lot of them. His swings or his melee hits they're not that much weaker than the slash itself. So
His wings are pretty godlike though. I like them.
oh, they are.
Look at that double leap slam from Azaro with that dual wield swords.
Oh, he's just showing off at this point.
Definitely. Uber Late, though. Bring him into the corner with that decoy totem. I'm going to be able to make quick work of him. Bring him down I think, more handily than any other racer, even though he is getting third place. But being able to kill Azaro very easily. Picks up the unique studded belt. Nice. Good loot here for Uber Late, finishing in at 1 hour, 38 minutes. Very strong as well. I mean, another thing for... I mean, it's one of those things where you say, yeah, they had Tabula, yeah, this and that, but they had the wheel. The wheel is tough. And no one can really avoid the wheel, honestly, except for Raiz and his flame totem.
That's true.
Raiz found a loophole. He found the loophole. He said, you know what? There is the wheel. But
I will say, though, if you look at the race, though, I think, yeah, he had the flame totem set up, but look at how much worse of a performance Raiz was putting out in the lab itself. Yeah, the flame totem was helping him up until the lab, but in the lab, I don't actually think it was helping out at all.
No, the flame totem was
the decoy. If you look at it, it just allowing them to just self-cast so much more. It's just there were I don't know. I gotta say,
we have to consider Raiz was the only one having to start with Spark entering the lab, doing phase 1 and phase 2 with Spark, and then switching to Molten Strike for the last and final phase. So Raiz having quite the kind of weird, wrench thrown in there, having to adapt very quickly. But the flame totem showing, being able to kill the mobs, being able to kill just anything that got in his way, and getting the flask return. I think the flash charge return was a big thing. Decoy totem not going to help you do that. Flame totem going to kill those Azaro ads and give you the flask recharges back.
Yeah, but then again, you can say, well, the decoy can put you out of harm's way while you deal with the ads as well. So it goes a little bit both ways on that. I
don't think you like Flame Totem. I think you're just.
I like Flame Totem.
I think
I like Flame Totem for when you're rushing through the game.
Okay, I think we should roll back the tapes. If we had that technology in 2017, roll back the tapes, bring back, and I believe you said something along the lines of Raiz showing him being a 4-year-old. Was that what you said? With the flame totem? 40. I remember you did bash 40-year-old. Sorry, with the flame the flame totem. You did pick up on the flame. You said, I don't like this. DeadandDoom showing so much more work here, and then you flipped and you said the flame totem. Flame totem doing a lot of work here. Do you think that the flame totem...
I think the caster rolls made it. I think that really helped. The fact that they rolled so many sparks and freeze pulses, it really helped that setup so much more.
So Raiz showing that he may be an oldie, but he's not a moldy oldie. He still has it in him, doing really well with
Raiz did with that experience. Definitely, you should never count him out. If you go slow, even with old age setting in a little bit, and I can attest to it, he is fast. I could barely, when I was racing with him, I could barely catch up.
And it's not one of those things where you say, well, you're fast for a 40-year-old.
No, he is fast.
You're just fast.
He's gonna put even 12-year-olds to shame.
And it is one of those aspects that you usually brag about. Sometimes you don't want to brag about being too, but you know.
I think it's time for maybe dragging
Yeah, let's do
the winner in here.
Yeah, let's get the wiener.
Ooh, hello.
Hello, RaizQT.
Rise, congratulations. Strong showing. Impressive, actually. I believe you had it, what, an hour, 24 minutes or so? Really, really good. Are you happy about that time?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing off the stream, that's a pretty good time for an old man, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, pretty good, yes, for an old man, but just pretty good for anyone.
Right.
Really.
Okay.
So we were harping about the flame totem and stuff, you know, a little bit joking around here and there. Do you feel like the flame totem really helped you out most of this race?
Well, I think people are over-exaggerating a little bit. Okay, so here's a couple things. First of all, I advocated for the ban of totem skills from the very beginning. But since it wasn't done, and when I was sitting in the Discord channel, everybody was like, well, I'm going to use Ancestral Protector. I'm going to try to focus on melee. I'm going to use Siege Ballista. Ooh, maybe I should get Range Attack Totem. Shadow gets Range Attack Totem. Maybe I should Mule it. I was just sitting there. I'm like, well, if everybody's doing it, I guess I'm going to do it too. Even though it's a pretty big cost because you have to Mule in the Templar, and my layout was awful. Like, when everybody did Hellrake and Submerged, I just then finished Submerged.
Yeah,
they were like a full Quicksilver ahead.
I think you need to go and watch maybe some Engineering Eternity on that one, because I have definitely seen that layout a lot of times, and I know for a fact that you just ran it poorly. That one, I think.
Oh, which one?
That was.
That's an interesting note, Noogie, because as a matter of fact, Engineering Eternity's video is completely outdated, and that one video.
Maybe his video is bad. Okay. I haven't watched it. I just know how to run that song.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to help you out.
No. I definitely could have played better for sure. I still have to get used to the new layouts. I'm just saying it cost me.
So it seems that like you're saying that you weren't a big fan of the totems, but it was more of a protest for you, showing that, hey, look, the totems are really, really strong.
Well, partially. But like the thing is too that people said that you know, 6-link totem, you shouldn't be able to put it into your utility. It was 3-link the entirety of the race. It was only added cold and added lightning.
No, it's 3-link. Yeah.
That's something we were talking about, the Tabula Rasa, not just a 6-link, but being able to get 3-4 links in there, very, very strong if you're sharing those support skills. So say there was a implementation. I'm assuming you would say, yeah, if there's another wheel race, because this is new. This is, you know, we're kind of testing this out.
Yep.
If you were to say no totems, what would you do for that secondary besides, you know, I would say your tertiary being the flame dash? Do you have like a secondary thing that you would put in place for the flame totem?
Well, it's like utility skills are a very difficult thing because everybody's harping about the flame totem, but the truth is I severely misused the flame totem. I was like using it way too much. The truth of the matter is that flame dash is where it's really at, and that was the reason why I went shadow and went for the flame totem, because I was like, okay. And I even picked up a decoy, you know, not expecting how much flame totem is going to do, because I obviously never practiced it. So I think flame dash is the real big problem. And even though it was 3-link, it was just doing so much damage. I wasn't even using elemental focus for the longest time. And the difference is too that with flame totem you're sacrificing onslaught because and with flame dash that's partial because the degen doesn't grant you onslaught, but the attack portion, the instant damage portion of it does get you onslaught. So that's like the big problem. What's the solution? I mean, it would probably make for a really boring race, but I would just ban specifically flame dash and all sorts of totem skills.
I don't know. I think looking at the different races and how they utilize the tabula here was really exciting, and it was really educational as well. I think you probably had, if I was to say of any other race, I think you had the best setup. With that double added damage roll, right? You get that one shot both on the main skill, right? You get double damage on that one, and then you have the flame dash, and like between those two, you're always killing packs. And I think that just showed how you're supposed to play this. So I think that was really nice to see that you're essentially 4-linking 3 items or 3 skills.
You know, don't get me wrong, like the race itself, I think in this format where you rotate the abilities is just interesting enough by itself, and then you can just use something that you know for a fact isn't going to make a massive difference. So like for instance, everybody's forced to have Blink Arrow in their offhand. And to anybody who's previously played the like alternate star races, the ones that GGG hosted, a big part of those races was, you know, moving around items, but also getting Blink Arrow specifically off of Ranger. And if you were going for some sort of boss kill race, getting into Act 4, Blink Arrow helped out a lot. So I think if players were forced to have like Blink Arrow in their offhand, they can't deliver damage through it. But min-maxing Blink Arrow truly is like very hard because you have to weapon swap so much, and I think that would make for a nice format. But it would also be annoying for the people who don't want to weapon swap, right?
Yeah, and for anyone.
I was gonna say it is really interesting that you bring up the Flame Dash. You were saying the Flame Dash being really the star of the show here. I believe you're the only one who really synergized Flame Dash very well with the Flame Totem, of course, and the other elemental damage skills. So that's something you have to keep in mind, that you did maybe find, I don't want to say an exploit, but something that just really, really worked for you. And you know, hats off to that. Thinking outside, not really outside the box, but at least really thinking about the elemental damage aspect here with movement skills. But we do have a question about how would you feel, you know, I do get, you know, using Blink Arrow, that's great too. What if you weren't allowed to actually put any of the utility skills in your Tabula? You had the fine, you know, the 3 links, the 4 links for those utility skills instead.
I mean, technically I was gimping my Flame Totem for the majority of the race because I didn't get a +1 even though I had rubies and I had alterations and everything. But, you know, from the beginning I really could have been using a +1 also, so it would have been a +1 Flame Totem on a 3 link. Sure, that's a little bit more transmutes, but yeah, that's still so strong, especially now because gems, like in the past, gems would fall behind your levels a little bit, but now if you are level 30, the gem you will equip will be almost identical EXP wise to the gems that you've been leveling this whole time. So even if you were to get those transmutes later, there's really not much downside to it.
I just want to say that your setup, though, looking at your setup before, just very, very well thought out. I'm not sure if you took a lot of time to think about it, but like we were saying, I said I don't want to keep on saying the Flame Tone, the Flame Dash, those really good, but also having, you know, Flame Dash linked up to the blind, having the Orb of Storms, everything like that, and Enfeeble. You were the only one, I believe, using Enfeeble for those Azaro fights, being able to knock down his accuracy so low, bringing down the crit potential, as well as just damage in general. It was just a really safe build for you that did a lot of damage. And I think that was one of the things that was a huge factor for this race.
Yeah, I think that was definitely something that I really liked doing for Izaro. I knew that, especially when I heard that DeadandDoom found Wanderlust, I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm getting anything above 24. Like, I have to go immediately. So yeah, 24 for those big potions, so you got one more use on them. Same for the mana potions, which I a little bit messed up. I was a little bit freaking out about my mana, so I ended up not using Herald or anything like that, which definitely was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, I think, well, if we do look, because I think your early game is really where you shine, and I think that's really where the entire setup worked out so well as that you had, because you were, like, if you look at the lab itself, do you think that going with the Flame Totem in the lab was actually a mistake, or do you think there's the right choice? Because
it was definitely a mistake. I mean, at the very start of the lab, I even said on my stream that I'm just doing this to prove a point. I had a decoy totem leveling the entirety of the race, so honestly, since it was Molten Strike, it was like, okay. I mean, yeah, it swapped, but I had everything in my equipment, and Molten Strike just does so much damage with like this amount of elemental stuff that I've got on my character that when I was watching for Elite, for instance, doing it, it was way faster with the decoy and safer too, obviously.
So I'm curious, what point were you trying to prove here?
That the totems are OP. Get rid of them. I mean, it's both the totems, really.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to put one thing other, since, I mean, this is new, right? So there's going to be issues. We're going to try to get the kinks out. Do you think this base idea for the race is good? And if you had to make one change, would it be the totem thing? Is that the main thing you think that needs to be tweaked for this to make it a little bit more exciting?
I would say maybe make it so that you can swap make it so that the abilities are randomized more frequently. Maybe not 5 minutes, but like 7, 8, because it was really easy to really prepare yourself mentally and move around your gems prior to the swap. when it was 10 minutes because you could prepare so much in advance.
How do you feel about
if it's like 6, then that's a little bit tricky.
We had it planned for 5 to begin with, but cut it down to 10 just to not make it like, too much of a mess for the first time.
Yeah. No, I think this was definitely something great to start off with. I don't know if 5 wouldn't feel too much like, oh my god. But then again, we've never seen cleave, and obviously something like that is going to happen. But yeah, like 6, 7, maybe 8. I think that would feel better because it's also, if you just look at the 10-minute mark, like I mentioned before, you know when it's coming. But if you have to count every time when it's like an uneven number, it's like, 14, 21, 28, all this sort of stuff. It makes it a little bit more tricky.
How would you feel about having a rolling solution where, maybe if you roll the same skill, it's a reroll, so we don't see the same thing again. Maybe possibly even rolling between different types of skills, so there's always a major skill change, if that makes sense. So we're rolling between spells, this time and this time we're going to be rolling around, ranged attack. I don't know. Something that might be able to really switch it up so we don't have that issue of having a similar skill, appearing twice in a row.
This didn't affect me because the same skill never rolled twice, but when I was sitting on Discord with Gucci and he was doing lab and he was in the middle of the Azara fight and it rolled Molten Strike again, he was extremely relieved. And I think in a race like this, nobody should be relieved whatsoever.
Yes, that was a
destroy
big
them mentally.
That we keyed up on, not having to get in your inventory, dodge the skills, switch the items out, switch the gems out. Really, really easy. Or not, I shouldn't say easy, but definitely a big reliever there for the 2 racers in lab, especially being stuck on a phase such as Act 2. Or sorry, not Act 2, sorry. A phase such as Phase 2 against Zaro. That's a big plus there, not having to deal with, the extra just being cumbersome about switching things. I think that's a huge problem. I mean, there's a lot of factors, right? Not just switching things, but having that inventory take up, like what, a third of your screen.
Yeah, it's a big chunk, and also at the same time, I mean, that was a huge part of the advantage with Flame Totem and Flame Dash, because you use Flame Dash to move around fast, while you use Flame Totem to like automatically do things. So really, when the swaps were coming around and we had to prepare for them, or we already had them going on, but we were in the middle of the pack. Like other players had to stop and change probably, while I could just like place down the Flame Totem and keep going.
I wanna ask like one thing here in the end. Do you think the skills that were being chosen off the wheel were to your advantage?
To my advantage?
Like there was no cleave coming in either, and you had all that LE damage and the flame throwing. I feel like it played very well into your playstyle.
I mean, the shrapnel kind of felt like cleave, so that was good. And early on, you can have so much damage. There was a little bit more Molten Strike than I was expecting, but I mean, I think I might be old man QT, but with old age comes experience.
Yes.
And when it comes to this stuff, I've just raced with so many different classes at this point that, a format like this was really, I would say I had a little bit of an advantage. Until DeadandDoom found Wanderlusts.
But you had a good lead there, and I think your experience and just not being thrown off by anything, having a good solid base on your supports, and you say, well, I can just swap in here, no LMP, no Pierce, no bullshit. We're just gonna swap out the main skill and go. And I think that really paid off for you.
Yeah, that was the thing that when everybody was talking about it, they were like, "Wow, what kind of supports do you get? Oh, do you get this? Do you get that? Oh, maybe I should try this class." Like they were really trying to figure out, "Oh, I'm gonna need 4 transmutes," and I was just focusing because that's exactly what I learned with playing melee classes. That really, because on a caster you have to optimize your gear to stay alive and to really deal sufficient damage, but on a melee class, the mechanical skill is really where the speed comes from. So not messing around with your inventory, but rather fully utilizing your mobility skills. And this is partially true for Shadow because of the Flame Dash too. So my focus was to just mess around with as little as possible, get added lightning, get added cold, and just try to keep that onslaught up.
I liked it. It was very good performance.
Yeah, I think congrats, Rise, for the first time on this real race for everyone. You showed a very, very strong showing, and being able to really itemize, I mean, the bubbling flask was a big thing, but I don't think that was really the key to victory. You just had a really well.
Oh, it might have been.
It was very.
Honestly, I didn't mention that, but I don't know if you guys.
You had a crutch for sure, but I feel like having
3 or 4. It was the projectile was coming, and I was just like.
We have said that there was at least a handful of instances where you probably would have died, if not. Definitely. But I mean, having a superior setup, I'm not saying the best one, obviously, but having a very strong idea of what works, what doesn't work, having that experience just as a streamer, as a racer, as someone who's been playing PoE for a long time, I think that really shows here in this race. I don't think it was anything about exploiting, any little thing here and there. I think is really just pure experience, to be honest. And I just want to say congrats. That was a really strong showing.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Even though I will agree to disagree. Get rid of the flame totem. But thank you so much.
One race at a time.
One race at a time, for sure. It still was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend for everybody else to try to participate in this one, because, yeah. It really makes you confused, but it's a happy confused,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Well, thank you, Rise, for participating. Congrats again, of course. And yeah, we hope to see you in a similar race. Maybe with some tweaks.
See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
I think we're going to pull in. Are we pulling in the second place? GucciPradas. Congrats on the second place finish. Maybe a few minutes behind Rise, but still a very strong run. I believe, what was it, 1 hour 33 minutes? I think that was the end time. Really good.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, it was a pretty fun race, I have to say. I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. But I was thinking maybe shorten the intervals between the make the thing swap faster.
Right, yeah, maybe but a 7 minute or something over 10 or
yeah,
5. Yeah,
5 minutes, but you don't have to swap if you're mid boss fight or something. I don't know. Because imagine if I wrote something else.
That's kind of where it gets interesting, though.
I think at the racing perspective, it's really cumbersome, but I think at the viewing perspective and the casting side, switching a mid fight is pretty entertaining. Honestly, I'll be honest.
We're not circus animals here, So it's a race, we're not I don't know, dude.
You don't think there's a skill in having your inventory managed so you can just swap in whatever you need on the gem, and having the mental prowess to know, okay, my main gem is here, I swap that from there, and I have, if it hits any of these skills, right, if it hits a melee, I swap that, if it hits a range, I swap that, if it stays a spell, I keep this. I think it really can showcase just a strong mental presence.
It's an unnecessary skill though, knowing all this. It's you're never gonna use it in a proper race anyways. I don't know, just a waste of time trying to min-max that kind of thing, in my opinion. I don't know, just really late. Oh my, if I hit bows on that Izaro phase, I would I would have to log out because I think my bows was in my stash.
Oh no.
So that would have been pretty bad, yeah.
You see, that's where Rise was prepared, right? You see, that's the thing he can deal with. I don't know. I would have liked to see that. I do agree though, and Rise agreed as well that a shorter interval would definitely have been nice.
So is that the one change you would say is the most important right now in this kind of wheel? If we had the same wheel race kind of base setup, would you like to see the shorter intervals? Is that the most important thing for you?
Yeah, sure. And I don't know, maybe oh man, but it'd be really complex, move up from level 1s to level 12 abilities and stuff. But that's
I think the biggest drawback is the orbit transmutation, right? For the
you just have
you hand over all the skills to the players beforehand, so that's easy.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think that's something that that people have thought about, Havoc probably thought about, but this obviously being the first test. But yeah, the intervals and the skills, this change in skills, definitely a thing that can happen. I did have a question about your showing in lab. You did pretty well. Do you think there's a big advantage to picking up the trinkets, picking up the dark shrines? Because I don't think you really did any of that. Same with Rise. Is that just too much of a time sink? Just not worth the risk, or what?
I picked up the conduit thing.
That's right. Okay, you
to
did
disable one. But the lieutenants is leaving one up is fine, because mid Izaro fight, you just kill one of them to get a flash charger spec, so it's fine. So it's kind of a refill thing.
So searching for dark shrines, I know you don't always get a benefit that helps you with the fights, but is that ever a thing in your mind that you feel could be a huge advantage for yourself? Getting, maybe the diamond shrine, maybe getting a regen shrine or something like that?
I mean, if the race is like really close, yeah, maybe I consider it. But I don't know. I knew I could just do it without, so I didn't bother. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I think we've talked about this like before with like some of the other races, and like you only do shrines when like you're in a race. If you're doing a speed run, you don't really bother with the shrines. So I was like, yeah, never mind. And it was multi-strike, so that was so easy. Just put a decoy totem, and then he just faces away from you the whole time.
We did see that strategy with not just you, but I think Uber Elite as well.
Yeah.
So much damage, especially paired up with that decoy totem. Is there a skill throughout this race that you felt very comfortable with?
Yeah, actually, none of them. Actually, I mean, Spark was fine, but Shrapnel was bad. Ice Shot was bad. Molten was bad. What else did we get? Freeze Pulse. Yeah, I like Freeze Pulse.
There was a cleave, but we never rolled it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. I didn't even have weapons till the very end for cleave, so I don't really mind.
We did see you get a really good essence roll picking up the recurve bow. That was a big thing, but you didn't have the dex to use it. Was that something that you were kind of like, you know, freaking out and thinking, how can I relieve this? You know, pick up the Jade Amulet, maybe get that level, and you did get the bust to get the traveling node. Was that something you had planned out, or did you just think of it right on the fly?
I mean, I was like, I need dex, so I was like pretty close to leveling, but I couldn't kill anything. And I noticed I had 2 busts, so I just ran for the last bust. I mean, that was
a
pretty
I think it was really good thinking.
Nice.
Quick on your feet, very, very, very impressive. And you know, switching out the amulet's not always the right move, because sometimes you switch out your amulet, you can't use other skills, right? Because they're leveling in the background. So definitely something that I think deserves some praise if people miss that. That was very, very good, quick thinking on your part.
So how did you think just managing everything in a race like this, where you have to manage both like weapons and bows, and did you feel like you picked up too many things, or?
I think I didn't pick up enough, to be honest. I mean, I was good on bows the whole time, except for when it swapped to Ice Shot, and I had the bone bow, but I wasn't quite 23. And then I realized I didn't have the dex anyways, so I had to buy the recurve off the vendor, and then I didn't have the dex for that.
Okay.
But other than that, like casters, you just put on 2 white wands. It's like nothing much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
what about your support gems? Because you had everyone actually had quite a different setup. What did you think about your setup particularly?
I mean, I didn't really plan it beforehand. All I knew was air lighting, added coal, and like before the Izaro race, it was Molten Strike. So I was okay. I need wet fast attacks, so I just went to get that. Because I replaced you last minute, so I was not really last minute. I had a few hours, but I couldn't be bothered thinking about it. So
yeah, you did take my spot. So, but I hope you had a lot of fun with it, anyways.
Yeah, I think this like race has a lot of room for what's the word for it? Like to be improved and like make it really, really fun and really fun to watch as well. Like it's probably one of the I want to say as good as the pick and bans. In my opinion, just like you need to like balance the entertainment and the actual race aspect of the thing. That's about it. Yeah.
I mean,
I really enjoyed it.
In terms of the support skills and just the skills people are using out for utility and everything, there was quite a bit of differentiation. Do you think Shadow really being the only class here? Because I think everyone ran Shadow. So is there a way to make it so maybe different classes could get thrown in the mix?
Not really, because like you look at an attack skill, you can always scale it with elemental, but you look at a spell, it's either elemental or fizz. There's no ability that's a mixture of both, so you always want to go elemental at the end of the day. And when you look at the passive tree, Shadow is the best for it. You get like the most elemental damage out of any class, I think. Maybe Templar? No, Templar spell damage. So yeah, Shadow is the best class for a race like this. Which is pretty unfortunate. I was thinking about doing Ranger actually, like parting out through the proc damage and then attack speed. Then get what's that node? Primal Spirit for strength and int. Then I'll get Finesse, and by the time I hit Finesse, it'll be like 20 minutes. So and then whatever the skill is swapped to, I'll either get Aspect of the Panther or I'm dying. Aspect of the Panther or Aspect of the Eagle. So if it was bows, I'll get Aspect of the Eagle. If it was melee, I'll get Aspect of the Panther and just go from there.
That would be kind of risky though, had it been then rolled any kind of spell.
Yeah, I mean both spells are projectiles though, and you start off with like projectile damage.
That's true. But Aspect of the Panther and those, they're all I believe there are like fizz attack damage and attack speed.
You just
There's no approach on that.
You go whirling blades, easy. Just scale the attack speed to move around fast. Maybe
Okay,
take
so
a bit
you
longer
scale
on
attack speed rather and just say, well, I have the tabula for damage, and that's all I need, and so I just want to go fast with the movement skill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Because yeah, I think that I'd have to like try again this race and see if going like min-maxing your movement ability is better. I mean, then again, you got Rise with the Flame Totem strat, so
I would say
So
it was just as much about the flame dash strat as well on top of
yeah.
that. Because if you look at the Zaro kill, I think he spent 15 minutes and you spent less than 10.
Oh yeah,
I think
I
it
got
was something
lucky,
like
though.
his Zaro kill was that's nothing to write home about. I'm telling you that, like, both you and Uber with the decoy were so much faster. You did also like you didn't have to start with the spark, so maybe that helped a little bit. But even then, like the last 2 kills with Molten Strike for Raiz were not very smooth.
Because I saw it was sparked and I'm like, okay, it's a good time to go do trials and get a few levels because I was not gonna bother trying to do a Zaro with spark because it's just too much of a risk that you die. I mean, I died anyways on Molten Strike at the start, so that was pretty unfortunate. But like, I don't know, I just would never bother doing Zaro with spark. It just takes too much time. I think if I didn't die on my first run, like I would have caught up a fair bit of time just because I didn't have to do spark. Like if I had it's hard to say, like looking back. But
What was Rise's time? Do we have like a
Rise was about an hour 24 or so. I don't remember exactly though. I could be wrong on that.
28?
Or
That would have
27, maybe 27. Hour 27.
Yeah, so that would actually have been very close if you could have gotten like, because I know you could probably run lab in what 6 minutes. That would actually have been very close then.
I did a Sunder run today, and my time was 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So
that's with Sunder and everything, right? That's with that setup. So you probably go a little slower.
I think 7 minutes is better, more reasonable on a Molten Strike character.
That could have been very close.
It would have been intense, but yeah. I should have gotten a Whirling Blades as well, but I was just lazy. I had more than enough trans speeds. But...
Okay.
Well, congrats on the time. Like we were saying, definitely room there to have caught up to Rise with a really, really strong lap showing with the decoy totem. So congrats on getting second on this kind of new type of race. I think it was a strong performance.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that was great. And I think, do we have...
We have Uber Elite here, I think, for the last, or I don't know, interview. Uber finished at, 1 hour 38 minutes, but a 2-minute time penalty for one death.
So 140.
Yep.
140, still very, very good. How'd you feel about this race? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was actually pretty tough. You had to juggle so many things around in your inventory to make sure you were ready for any skill that happened. So
how did you like being having to be prepared for so many things? How did that play out?
It's pretty tough, but it was actually pretty fun. And
did you have a plan coming into the race? I know that wasn't much time to prepare because we were holding back on like exactly what skills we're going to throw at you. So there's not much you can prepare. But did you try and make some kind of preparation?
I had like most of my idea was just that it was going to probably be level 1 skills, so we could start it off right away. And so out of that, it was basically just I'm going to go for Shadow and go purely elemental, no matter what the attack skill is or the or whatever spell we get. It's going to be able to be scaled by elemental.
We were watching your stream a bit, and obviously when we were casting, we couldn't really hear what you were saying, but every time a bow skill rolled, you seemed to have a little bit of smirk, a little bit of smile. Is that something that you like to use when you're racing?
Yeah, kind of. I've always been... I used to race bow a really long time ago, but I think most of it was just because, like, basically everything bow, I had better bow rolls than them because we were all in Discord because we had to get, you know, the notified what the skill was, so we were all talking the entire time. And
okay.
the funny part was DeadandDoom was like always so scared because he accidentally vendored his bow at one point, and then like immediately after it rolled a bow skill.
Oh no.
That's interesting.
Was that around when was that? Was that early on, or was that around when he
I think that was Act 2.
Okay.
That is interesting. Being in a Discord room, being able to share, you know, what you're thinking, what you're doing at the time, is that something that adds a little bit of pressure for you, or does that alleviate some for you?
Well, when you hear DeadandDoom say, "Hi, I just got Wanderlust," it's kind of like, well...
And I think that could be really mind games, right? Being able to say, "I just got Wanderlust, by the way, guys." I mean, it's something where people are going to react to it. I mean, they might not show it through, you know, their facial expressions, but maybe the way they play, they want to start pushing harder, feeding in some information there that's not quite true could help out with that. It's kind of weird. I've never experienced that, sitting in a group racing against your competitors, but being able to talk to them.
Yeah, I guess it kind of can, but like, you really just have to keep pushing because you never know what's going to happen. Like, well, like exactly what happened in this race. DeadandDoom's internet just like completely went out and he couldn't even finish. So
right. So there's no parting words. You didn't say "F this." There's nothing.
No,
like that. It was
he just
pretty
straight
much
up
just silence.
He just straight up disconnected. Like, Gucci asked him something, and then we're like, "Wait, why isn't he responding?" Because normally he does respond. And they looked at Discord. And he's like, "Wait, where's DeadandDoom?"
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. It was such a close race between him and Raiz at that point. And I would even say you were not far behind. Like coming into I think around Act 2, everyone was so close, but you did start to straggle behind just a little bit around the middle of Act 2. Did you have did you start was there something you were struggling with, or anything with your setup maybe?
Well, inventory management became a little bit of a struggle. I completely forgot about my Act 2 support gems, and I didn't pick them up for ages. And then there's also the, I never get move speed in these races. I swear, the one race where I get move speed is going to be the one that I win.
Yeah, that was something we didn't pick up on, not being able to get the 10% movement speed boots when everyone else, I think, did have that in Act 1.
Yeah.
So does play a factor for sure in these races early on. It's just unfortunate. RNG is, you know, sometimes on your side, sometimes not.
Yeah.
I will say though, you had a very strong finish. You did seem to struggle in the middle, but I was expecting that you had a plan for the end and for Izaro.
Yeah, mostly just decoy toteming and trying to trying to keep that up.
We didn't time I didn't time the phases, but I believe your phase 3 was the fastest out of everyone. You had a really good corner decoy totem with the Molten Strike, doing a lot of work. We did note that Raiz struggling through, you know, all the phases, but just being so far ahead, being able to finish on top. But yeah, you had a really, really strong showing on that phase 3 for sure.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to hear like how the other, or see how the others Izaros went. I'm kind of curious to see that.
Do you remember when you entered?
When I entered?
Entered Izaro's lab.
I can't remember. Somebody on Discord actually posted it in general.
Let's see if we can find it, because I know that
nobody posted.
It took around 15 to 17. I think Raiz entered just around when it swapped, right? So that was around so it took him like 17 minutes or 15 to 17 minutes, and I don't think you took more than 10.
Really?
Yeah, Royal. Someone posting in here that you entered the lab at 122 and you finished, I guess, not considering deaths, 138. So
yeah, okay, so it was 16 minutes.
Okay.
If that's right, yeah, that's still
14.
quite a
That
bit
sounds
time,
right to
but...
me.
No, okay, yeah, no, you're right.
We did have Gucci.
It did seem a little faster though.
Gucci did enter in pretty early, but he did take a death there, so that did put him behind a bit.
Okay.
My problem was I didn't have like any defenses, so like the trash was actually really scary. It took me forever to get through the normal rooms.
Okay.
So while my Zaros might have been faster, like I kept almost dying to trash in lab, and it was like really scary.
Yeah, I did see a few times. I noticed that you was that a mistake? You immediately turned off the the fire conduit when you were
that was a
on
mistake.
fire? Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hit it, whatever it is, and it's like I find out it's fire, which I have 81 res to, and it's like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah. So for this race, is this something that maybe if we were to tweak it a bit, change things around, would you like to appear in another thing like this, like a real race? Do you think it's something that is kind of floats your boat so as big? Is it something you really like to do, or do you like the more traditional type of races?
I always enjoy the different races, so, but it was kind of weird to hear that Rise was like doing flame totem stuff, and it was like,
I think people are overvaluing the power of that, because I actually think with more inventory management, better inventory management, it's actually putting you behind. I think you would be better off swapping in you would do the double swap. You go to a melee skill, you swap the like Molten plus Ancestral in, you go to spell, you swap the Flame Totem plus the whatever in, you go to bow, you swap I think that would have been way better. It really showed a lot of times throughout the race, all the boss kills for the people who were using the correct totem were much better.
oh yeah.
I think what he did well is that he did the double falling on the flame dash plus his main skill. He didn't really do a lot of tinkering with all his skills. Like he had the double flat damage, what's it called? Added lightning, added cold, onslaught. Yeah. That's it. No like pierce, LNP, none of that bullshit. Just constantly just go forward. Only swap one skill. I think if he'd swapped a second skill as well for more single target, that would have actually helped. So I wouldn't put too much of his time on the fact that he was using Flame Totem. Yes, it was fine. It was okay, but that was not why he was doing so well.
Yeah, obviously I didn't get to see like what exactly he did. He just said yeah, I'm using Flame Totem and stuff, like, so.
Yeah, no, I don't think any of you guys made a mistake in terms of the totem choice. I think it was more of it takes more inventory, it takes more management to deal with the other, like to deal with a different setup. So that might have thrown you off, right? You have to like kind of juggle all like an additional skill into the mix, and that makes it a little bit harder. So maybe with practice, and if we do this again, like I could definitely see it being done without Flame Totem.
I do agree there. I think a lot of the totem utility choices are more preference based, and there was really no wrong choice there.
Yeah, for sure. I like if you try to juggle around too much, it's just gonna put you back. It's like you try to fully optimize everything, and it is a race. You do want to optimize as much as you can, but there's a limit to how much you can do before it's like, well, this is too much, and now I'm just wasting time doing that.
You think that's one of the things you struggle with the most? Not overdoing everything, maybe theory crafting or min-maxing everything a little bit too much during the race?
Hold on 1 second. My headset's like messing up. Yeah, kind of. I definitely felt like I could get away with less. But
yeah. Well, I think if we I'm definitely gonna cross my fingers for a movement speed drop for you. for the next race, and then maybe we'll see.
Yeah, all the times ending there pretty close together, so it was really anyone's race, so to speak.
It was such a close race.
Very, very strong showing, of course. Uber, though you got third, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think you did really well, and it is a new thing, so everyone's trying to come up with the best, builds and everything. So, congrats on your place. Very, very strong. Only one death, I believe. So that's also something to write home about.
Yeah.
How did that actually happen?
That was on.
Quickly run that one down.
So that was on Brutus, and
yes.
I basically had 0 armor, 0 evasion at that point, and I couldn't face tank him, and I just ended up running out of life. And while I was trying to run away to get to ads, he actually somehow managed to smack me from a pretty long distance away. But he kept hitting me for like 60 over and over again. And he just kept high rolling hits.
I mean, I think Brutus early on, a really volatile race. You know, if he gets a good shot in here and there, I mean, it pretty much will kill you in 1 to 2 hits. There could be some RNG there as well for crits, but your recovery was amazing. It was so quick. It was a blink and eye. You were back in there and killed him like within a second. It was pretty crazy on that recovery. It was almost like it never happened.
Yeah, it was,
I had really good weapons.
Dead even. It's dead even to like the middle of Act 2.
That was the one thing I definitely am happy about, is like my RNG on like weapon drops and stuff were really good.
Nice.
Like I had a rare boarding axe that had 62 IPD drop off Brutus. I just couldn't use it.
We saw that.
Right away. Yeah.
When you're killing Fidelitis, he just disappeared.
Yeah. He just instantly died. I had so much damage at that point.
Well, I want to say thanks, Uber, for joining us on this kind of new race. Like I said, strong showing. So I'm sure maybe the RNG gods will be on your side next time you decide to join.
Hopefully. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I think we're going to pull DeadandDoom in here. Maybe he's going to shed some light on the disconnect. Oh, wait, sorry, no. I think he just logged off. I believe he just
around right now.
He just logged off. I think he's having some internet issues. So
I think he's still having the internet issues.
We're gonna have to skip with this interview. Sorry, guys.
What we're gonna do is we are going to go over to Havoc, who has a little update and who's gonna be leading us out. So I would like to say thank you, Cooters. It was great doing a cast with you, and thanks to all the participants.
Thank you for having me, Nuji. I mean, the casting was great. I had a great time. Thank you for being my co-cast partner. It was great. Like I said, had a great time, and you're amazing, as well as all the participants. You guys are amazing, and all the Twitch chat. You're amazing as well.
Yes, everyone's amazing, and Havoc, take it away.
Thank you, Noogie and Cooters. And I'm not done calling people amazing yet. I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Llama for providing us with the wheel technology. So some easy claps for him. Also, I want to shout out the helpers, Jamza, Tomberry, people in the background helping us get the races, graphics team making the graphics, the casters, you guys, Noogie helping get a lot of the races for these events, the devs that make the watcher, like Noogie said, the community as well. However, I have potentially some bad news. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but there may not be any races next weekend. I have midterms, so we're not too sure what we're going to do. I might not be there this next weekend. Noogie may be doing a race, but we're not sure yet. And we're going to be having a meeting about this after the event, so we'll try to give you guys some updates via the race Discord. But anyone that really enjoys these events and wants to help, if you can get into contact with Noogie and help Noogie set up these race events, that would help a lot, so then Noogie could host these. Yeah, thank you again for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.